Okay, ding dongs. If you don't subscribe to Jeremy Ice and Fire, you're gonna spend the night in the box.
Arn Cooey.
I think this is when it happened.
Okay,
Oh my god.
I did try to warn you.
Something's different. I am changing. I don't know if I like who I'm becoming.
Boyd, there are a lot of people wanting to know what happened down there.
Where's Dad? Why isn't he back yet?
Tabitha. We need to talk.
It means everything they showed us is real. I think they're doing it to make us afraid.
Well, then it worked.
There is something ancient here. And it's feeding off our suffering, and it doesn't stop.
We're losing. We're running out of time, and we still don't know the goddamn rules. There is no way to fight back against those things. Everything we've done, every sacrifice we've made, none of us are going anywhere.
You think you're some kind of hero? You're a monster.
Lord, please protect us in this dark place where evil roams so freely. This we ask in your name. Amen.
One way or another, the truth always comes out.
I would make sure it doesn't.
And welcome all to the From Season 4, Episode 6 live discussion. And here we are, folks. Here we are, fresh off of a 2-week wait, or a 1-week break, I guess you could say, in between episodes 5 and 6. Here we are, 6 has finally officially arrived. And I literally just finished watching. That's why we're a little bit later than usual. I just finished watching, like just now. And everything is still very fresh in my mind, and I'm still processing all of it, to be honest. But it was an interesting episode. We got some interesting things happen. Of course, we saw the climactic CPR scene and got the reveal of how that all played out, which was interesting. We'll definitely be diving into that and just about everything else as well. But overall, interesting episode. Definitely some interesting setup. I mean, we did get a lot of some setup for some things to probably be hitting pretty hard in later episodes, especially when it came to Sophia and Henry. Some very dangerous looking setup right there, if nothing else. But again, yeah, definitely, one of a nice setup episode that is seemed to be hopefully heading in the direction of these final 4 episodes really being where a lot of this stuff is going to start paying off. And I'm hoping that's going to be the case. But yeah, interesting episode. Not my favorite, not my least favorite, though, by any means. This was some good stuff. What about you?
I mean, I think that's a perfect way of describing it. Not my favorite, not the least favorite. I don't know if it's because we've had episodes that it feels like nothing happens other than setup.
Mhm.
And in this one, we got a little bit of setup, yes, but it did feel like there was always something going on. Never
Yeah,
a dull
it was
moment
a
in
good
front,
pace.
right?
It was a good pace. Yeah.
All I kept thinking was watching Boyd. I was like, damn, like I've been
He
there,
was
done
so
that. It just felt like been there, done that. He went from tragedy to like fire to like drama scene. It was one fire after another.
Yeah.
And then when he goes over to get the hammer, I just thought like, dude, give this
Yes.
guy a break.
This
And
fucking
then
guy.
Father Kotri shows up. So he doesn't even get that moment. I thought he was gonna go out to cry when
Yeah.
he said to everybody, okay, she's awake. He looked like he was gonna cry. I thought, oh, he's gonna go outside and he's gonna cry, you know?
Yeah.
But no, he doesn't even get a moment to himself
No,
without a
he doesn't even
ghost
get that.
also harassing him. And I just
Mhm.
thought like, damn, haven't we all felt like Boyd sometimes where it's like one
Yeah.
thing after another? He's having like the worst day, the worst week, I would say.
He really is. Like he's having a terrible week, if nothing else. Um, and I'm glad you brought up Boyd because Harold Perrineau in this episode was phenomenal. Like watching him was so good. Like he's always good, but every once in a while he has one of those episodes where he's like a little bit better than good, where he kind of what he does, what the script requires of him pretty much. And this episode required him to go to some interesting places, I felt, in particular with the Donna stuff, both while it was happening and after it was happening. And it was just him and her kind of while she was passed out on the bed, and the really good dialogue we got there. But Harold Perrineau really made this episode worthwhile. Like there was some good stuff all throughout, but Boyd, every scene that Boyd had in this episode really made the episode worth it. For at least for me anyway. Like it was the highlight of the episode for me, watching Harold Perrineau in this episode and how good he was. But yeah, we got some interesting stuff. And again, definitely some build up, definitely some interesting setup for some things that are likely going to probably come in these next 4 episodes. But yeah, again, it was an interesting episode. I enjoyed it. I was definitely enjoying myself while watching it, for sure.
Okay. Interesting way of putting it. I'm just making fun of you.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're gonna die, Boyd has
Yeah.
to be your scene partner.
Boyd's
Okay.
gotta
If
be
I was
there.
anybody in that show,
He's got to
if
be
you're
there.
gonna have a death scene, pick Boyd because he does the work for you. Literally, it was so emotional, right? It was so emotionally charged, even though it's kind of a basic death, like it's a heart attack. So she didn't
Yeah,
have to do much.
that's
She didn't even struggle because it wasn't an injury. So all she did was lay there. And Boyd made that so interesting and so emotionally compelling, right? So if you're gonna die on that show, ask for Boyd to be your scene partner because he will make the best out of whatever sort of death you have, right? Other than Roger, they saw Roger and they're like, okay, whatever.
Oh, Roger. And we saw something pretty interesting with Roger. It's not like because I went back and watched the death of Roger and what exactly happened. And the Scarecrow doesn't just like rip his like mouth open. The Scarecrow actually sticks its arm down Roger's like throat. Like you see the Scarecrow like rip Roger open at the mouth. And then you see the Scarecrow put its hand down Roger, almost like he's pulling the guts out so he can stuff Roger. And I think that's what we saw, the completion of it in this episode, where the Scarecrows didn't just kind of kill Roger and rip him apart. They fucking stuffed him and made him look like a scarecrow as well. They, stitched up his eyes, his mouth, and everything, which was super creepy. The fact that they went back and did that. And I have to imagine, is that what Fire Mitts did? Is that what Fire Mitts went on to do? Like it had to be, right? Like, I mean, there was only Fire Mitts and that one other. There was only 2 scarecrows left. One of them got killed. We saw them both kind of wander off. We definitely saw Fire Mitts wander off. But then here we go. We see Roger's body the next morning. He's all stitched up. I highly doubt that was Donna or any of them. I mean, maybe it was. Could it have just been Donna and, you know, them stitching up his body to make him look a little better? Maybe. I don't know, man. Part of me wants to believe that was Fire Mitts. I don't know.
Oh,
It could have
no
been
way
Donna.
Donna
just
did
been
that.
I mean, it
No,
could
no,
have been.
no. Dude, he has eyes. He
He's
has
got the
button
buttons and
eyes.
everything. Like, that's what I'm
Donna's
saying,
not
right?
gonna
It
do
looks like
that. Like,
dolls. Like, it seems like the dolls went back to his body and did this.
they turn him into a doll. Yeah. Donna's not gonna put buttons on his eyes. We've
No,
never seen her do
no,
any wacky
no.
little stuff like that. But
No.
I just thought when I was watching it, I was like, fucking Fire Mitts.
R-
That's
Fuck
why it walked
fucking
away. And
Fire
it walked
Mitts.
away
That's
like
why it walked
acting like,
away.
you know what? I don't want any problems. Like,
So,
I'm totally okay. We didn't know that it was walking away to avenge his friend. Fire Mitts was walking away and says, like, you know what? I'm gonna avenge my friend. I'm gonna sew. Well, first it has to remove the fire from its little
I
hand.
was just going to say, it had to put out the fire first, right? Like, we saw
Mhm,
Fire Mitts.
mhm,
Fire Mitts was in a dire spot there for a minute, like,
mhm.
legit, both mitts on fire. So, yeah, had to find a way, put out the fire, maybe in the lake, and then went back to Roger and did some work.
They really put in some work on Roger. It almost felt like, dude, what has Roger done that he gets like so gruesome of a death? And also the fact that everybody kind of sees him and they're like, oh, you know, nobody's crying, right? Everybody's crying for Donna, but even Kotri, even the ghost of Father Kotri is like, Boyda's like, thankfully nobody got hurt. And then Father Kotri's like, yeah, except for Roger. Like everybody forgets
Roger.
about Roger. Maybe they felt the same way that you do about Roger.
Maybe.
That's why they
Maybe.
didn't really care. But in all seriousness, and of course, we want to say hi to the chat. Maybe we'll say hi to the chat and then we'll go into it. There's a lot of symbolism in this episode.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why I loved it. There was so much symbolism. And the first one, before we say hi to the chat, Caroline. Have you seen Caroline?
No.
Coraline or Caroline. I call it
Coraline, no, I
Caroline.
have not. I know what it is, but I haven't
Oh
seen
my
it. Why, you
This
saw
is
some good
Coraline.
symbolism from Coraline? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
All
and we'll
right.
talk about it when we get
All right.
there. But yeah.
Okay. I like it. I like it. No, I haven't seen it. I know what I know of the film you're speaking of, but no, I haven't watched it though. So yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be fun. Yeah. NPC Roger got stuffed. He did. MGM hates Roger almost as much as Jeremy. Maybe this is true. Roger will come back to life as a doll. Maybe he will. Maybe. I mean, I suppose that is a possibility. Who knows what the freaking doll did to him and put inside of him? Yeah, absolutely. Roger got the crowd to bump Rush Kenny's mom for food when supplies were low. This was one of his many sins. This very much. This was one of Roger's many, many sins. NPC Roger likes to step up every once in a while, like he's a main character. He tends to forget that he's NPC Roger, and this is where it ultimately got him. Picking up that rope, not knowing what's on the other end of it. It's like, bro, what are you doing? That's main character narrative stuff. You shouldn't be touching this rope. NPC Roger kind of he bats above his weight. He punches above his weight class, I guess you could say sometimes. Above his class. But no. Yeah, this was pretty interesting to see that Fire Mitts went back and did this to Roger. That's pretty funny. But yeah, welcome one, welcome all. Here we are, folks. Episode 6 is finally here. I know it's been a very much extended wait, but it is finally here. We got some other Coraline references in the chat. We got Kate Marie here. Welcome. We got Star Gods channel. Welcome. We got Rude S. Smith. Welcome. We got Sunflower in the house. Welcome, everybody. What is up, Gerald? What is up, Sandfire? Welcome one, welcome all. What is up, Star? Good to see you, my friend. I see Diana in the house. I see my pal Xavier's here. Everybody's here. Welcome one, welcome all. Good to see each and every one of you. What is up, Real Cinema Therapy? Welcome. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We literally just finished watching it, like literally just finished, like just before the stream started. It's like I probably hit stop and then started the stream 30 seconds later. So we just finished. But yeah, let's dive into it, shall we? I just finished watching it in Central Time, and holy crap, Roger is looking kind of rough. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming either. Like, never in a million years would I have thought that Fire Mitts would have turned around, gone back for NPC Roger's body, and done this up. Like, I never in a million years would I have thought we would have seen this. So this was a big surprise for me as well.
Yeah. So I really love that some of you are getting the Caroline references.
Yeah.
And maybe we could talk about this. You know, I'm sure we're going to go through the entire episode, Jeremy, but very briefly when it comes to the Caroline, because I was very, very excited about this. Caroline has a big fandom. This is a storyline that has a huge fandom. A lot of people are very obsessed with Caroline.
Yep.
So if you don't know, because you don't know, right, Jeremy? Caroline is the story of a neglected little girl.
Okay.
This little girl has parents, but is very neglected. She goes into another world. There's another world that she goes into. And in this other world, everything seems perfect. And she has the other mother. The other mother looks just like her mother, but it's a little bit different. She has buttons for eyes. And the other mother, what she wants to do is she wants to sew buttons as eyes onto Caroline. And the whole time she's like, can I sew buttons on your eyes so you could stay here forever? There's other children there. So Caroline has to use her wits, her courage, most of all, to save herself, her parents, and the souls of the other children. Because that's what the other mother does. She devours the souls of children. She has to save the souls of the other children so that she could get out of this other world. So when it comes to the symbolism, the fact that they decided to, this is exactly what Caroline looks like. It's the buttons for eyes and then a sewn mouth on the children that have passed away. When I saw that symbolism, it fits the storyline of From perfectly. It is about child neglect. It is about, in order to escape, you have to use your courage to save the souls of the children that are trapped there. The children's souls are trapped. So I just thought this is literally the story of From, just retold in a different way.
Interesting. Well, yeah, a darker, more twisted version of Coraline. Okay, interesting. Yeah, again, I know Coraline seems to have a huge fandom. I myself have never actually sat down and watched the film. But I am glad that you gave me the quick rundown on exactly its premise. But because like you said, there are a lot of overlaps. There's a ton of overlaps there between that and From. In particular, the children. I mean, the children stick out like a sore thumb in terms of saving the souls of these dead children. We are very much heading in that direction. And then this episode in particular, we hear Jade talk a little bit about what his plan was. And it looks like we were right, at least in some of our guessing, a lot of you guys in the chat as well, that Jade believes that the bones are the answer, that finding the bones and maybe doing something with them is the answer. He's not sure what yet, but he thinks getting to the bones is the answer. And we even hear him talking about the monsters in terms of them maybe being down in those caves because they are protecting those bones. And that instantly made me think of the last time Jade and Tom were talking together, or one of the previous times that Tom came back and was talking to Jade. You brought this up the other day as well. And Tom says, nature will always keep what's most precious where it's most hardest to reach. And that's just instantly popped into my brain when you hear Jade talk about these bones being in like the most guarded place potentially in the caves. So I think Jade at least thinks he's on the right track. Now, are these bones going to be the end all be all answer? I don't know. I have no idea. I get the feeling it's not going to be that simple. Something tells me it's not going to be just as easy as getting the bones and putting them to rest, even though that's not going to be easy by any means. Like, again, going down into the caves, into the heart of those caves and trying to find those bones is not going to be an easy task. But no, I think it'll be interesting to see where this goes. But at least, if nothing else, we got our answer. We were wondering at the end of last week's episode, what exactly was Jade thinking? What was Jade thinking when he said to Boyd, I know what we need to do. I know how to save the children. Now, at the very least, we know what Jade's plan is. Will it work? That's another question.
Yeah. I'm thinking it won't work, not immediately, right? It will not be an immediate thing that happens, because we still have a ton of episodes, but they have to try it. This is a journey. They have to try a couple of different things until they find the one that's gonna work. So yes, it's Coraline. I'm telling you, Coraline has a fandom and they get mad if you don't say it right.
Coraline.
And forgive me, guys. I can't pronounce half of the things I say. So, don't take it in offense. It's just inability, not malice. But Coraline enters the other world through a door. There's a door that was not there. She moves into this house and that door wasn't there. And then suddenly, as things start to progress in this house, a door appears, this secret door. So when Boyd and Jade go down there and there is no door, but then after he bashes, right, that wall, there's that door. That is the story of Coraline. I just thought, oh my God, this is the Coraline episode of From. And and the way that the children's souls are saved in Coraline is basically a metaphor for you confronting yourself and things that you have not wanted to admit to yourself. So it's really therapeutic. It is about being strong. It's about having a lot of courage, which is something that is mentioned by the boy in the town, which is right now Ethan. Why am I forgetting his name?
Ethan. Yep. Ethan. Yep.
Ethan mentions courage. I must have courage. Literally, this is the Coraline episode because that's what Caroline does. So I think that if you look at it, you could make a billion other connections. This is the Coraline episode.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean the parallels are kind of like too close to ignore even at this point. So that's very interesting. Very and who knows? Yeah, maybe they took some inspiration from Coraline from this episode, with how similar some of these things are lining up. But yeah, good stuff. But of course, as always, we want to hear from you guys as well. What did you guys think of episode 6? Again, we had to wait 2 weeks for this episode. We had that break. I know not everybody was super happy about the break in between, myself included. But now that episode 6 is here, now that the second half of season 4 has officially begun, what exactly did you guys think of the episode? Let us know in the chat. What did you think? I think Henry will take down and hide the talismans, so Boyd might not be able to stop that. I think Victor will be the one to do something. Ooh, okay. Victor and Henry potentially doing something. I mean, Henry, I could buy doing something before Victor. I don't know. I feel like at this point, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like I have I don't know. I feel like the psychology of Victor is starting to get a little bit easier to kind of predict and to get a handle on. And one thing I've never gotten any whiff of is any kind of malice from Victor, or any kind of hatred, or any kind of, violent nature at all. I mean, yes, he pulled the gun on Jim, but that was more in self-defense. But I don't know. I feel like unless Victor has just been putting on like a really good front, I couldn't see him really getting like violent. But then again, I could be wrong. Again, he did point a gun at Jim. So I do have to remember that. He is capable of it. But Henry, I feel like where Henry's headspace is at, where he's what he's doing, where he's going, I guess what I should say is I guess Henry would be a more likely option out of the two. I guess Henry would be definitely a much more likely option. But I don't know. I feel like Henry's screwed. I feel like Henry's really fucking screwed after this episode, after what happened with him and in the bar in Sophia. I don't know. I feel like this is not going to bode very well for our pal Henry.
Yeah, when it comes to Henry, first, I'm gonna mention it. You guys know the way that I think. Henry
Hmm.
shouldn't have been drinking with Sophia. Even if
Hmm.
she's like, hey, I'm old enough to have buried my father, I'll be like,
Yeah.
you need to go look for Kenny, talk to Julie, somebody else. Like, but he's an alcoholic. I think at this point, we can infer that Henry has a drinking problem. And
Yeah.
this is not something that he picked up and from. He seems to be very used to
Yeah.
alcohol. Somebody here in the chat mentioned um, jokingly that From needs its own chapter of AA. And they
Oh, yeah.
do. They need their own chapter of AA because Henry was projecting a lot of the alcoholics mind when you are going through troubled waters.
Hmm.
It's any excuse. So sometimes, it's I'm grieving, so I must drink. Oh, well, my age doesn't matter. I buried my dad. Okay, that's good enough for me. Let's go ahead and drink. So he's exhibiting a lot on top of the fact that you examine Victor and his reaction. He didn't react like, this is new, dad. Why are you drinking? You don't drink.
Yeah.
He
He's got a
reacted like,
drinking problem.
oh, good old times. I'm
Definitely
remembering
got
good
a
old
drinking
times.
problem.
So that's that with Henry. Now, moving on to what Sophia did to that cup, that was crazy. But once again, the chat knows everything because one of you in the chat said, my blood is your blood. And I thought, oh my God, could that potentially be what is happening? It is through the blood that Martin gave Boyd worms. Is he going to get
Mm.
worms, you think?
I actually put that in my video last week. I did a video on that exact possibility that when we saw this Martin clip first arise, I thought, could there be some kind of possibility that the worms originated from the man in yellow's blood? And if that's the case, is that where Martin got them from? Because we have no idea where these worms came from. So yeah, when you see something like this, I mean, I guess we're gonna have to keep an eye on Henry. We start seeing some worms under his skin. I guess we're gonna get an answer as to where they came from.
Yeah. Speaking of the men in yellow, Doug is in the chat, Mr. Men in Yellow. Do you have worms, sir? Is
Give us the
Do you
answer.
have worms in your blood, sir?
And good morning to you, Doug. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Good to see you. The man, the myth, the legend himself, right there, the original man in yellow. But yeah, I think that it'll be interesting to see where this goes. What is going to happen to Henry? What kind of adverse reaction is he going to have to this? What are the ultimate effects going to be of this? I get the feeling it's not going to be just to kill him. If Sophia wanted Henry dead, she could kind of kill him and make it look like an accident any numerous ways. So I get the feeling there's something else going on here, and yeah, I can't wait to see. But yeah, let's skip to the beginning of the episode and we'll go through all of it from start to finish, guys. And of course, as we go throughout, we want to hear from you guys in the chat as well. What did you think of these scenes? What did you think of the episode? What did you think? And where do you think the story is going to be going from here? But right from the beginning, I know we already kind of touched on this a little bit already, but we see Jade and Boyd kind of arguing back and forth as to whether or not they should kind of go forth with this plan that Jade wants to do. Jade had this vision down in the caves. He saw the chamber where the sacrifice took place. And now he's convinced that these bones are somehow the answer. And Boyd, of course, being, kind of a level-headed one, knowing the threat that's down there in those caves, he's like, oh, hold on a minute. I'm not about to just sign up on some suicide mission where we run down there into these caves and all get killed. Especially getting into the heart of the caves where these bones seem to lie, which again goes back to the whole line that Tom told Jade. And when he first arrived to him, the first time that he popped up in the bar, good old dead Tom, the bartender, about nature hiding its most valuable thing where it's most difficult to reach. So I think this was interesting. Boyd definitely needed some convincing. He's not ready to just jump into the fray.
Yeah. So I was actually surprised about that. I just thought you guys were getting along perfectly. People were communicating. You guys were making this great duo that I was really excited to see working together because I thought those two together they can solve a lot, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Even Jade says it. I come in with the ideas. I'm an idea person, and you are the plan. You execute the plan. This is where you come
bingo.
in. So I thought the setup was great, and then suddenly they're fighting.
Yeah,
Suddenly Boyd is not wanting to cooperate with this. They resolved it by the end of the episode,
yeah,
but I just thought when Boyd says to Kenny, how can I not believe this? I would have said that I don't believe it before I got worms or before things came out of the lake.
yeah.
So he is talking about something that we have all been talking about. How do these people continue to deny the truth when
Mm,
they go through things that are impossible?
yeah.
But yet they're like, no, no way. That can actually be happening. It's finally getting, they're getting the hang of it, where he's
Mm,
like, I would think not, but this is kind of, a magical place in a negative way. Bad magical things happen instead of good magical things. So I just thought you can see that when you're talking to Kenny, but when he was having the conversation with Jade, he was acting as if he didn't really believe him. So I
yeah.
don't know if maybe he had time to process and he changed his mind about it, but I was surprised that they were fighting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you bring up a good point. Boyd has been, pretty quick to kind of buy Jade's story for the most part. He's been backing Jade up the whole way. They've been teaming up the whole season up until this point. And then, yeah, all of a sudden, this is, what made this the point of, okay, this is too far for Boyd, where he was kind of on board up until this point. So, yeah, you definitely bring up a good point. But yeah, I do like how they kind of resolve it by the end of the episode, which is good. But I guess I can kind of see it from Boyd's perspective, not wanting to kind of just rush down into those caves. I get that, but yeah, I think it was an interesting start. An interesting start. Then we get down into the basement, of course, and again, we had a feeling this was going to happen. We know that Jade had the vision of finding that door in the basement of Colony House. So of course, eventually he remembers that, and they go over to check it out. And like we discussed before, of the two possibilities of the door maybe not being there and them having to smash through it, or the door being there and them having to smash through the very end of the hallway. It looks like we got our answer. As they get down there, and lo and behold, there is no door, just a wall. And again, I think this was foreshadowed in the previous episode when the young version of Jade says, "You need to clear the path to see the way." In Jade's dream, that was just them pulling down luggage, but I think that was also a foreshadowing for what Boyd had to do in this episode. In order to see the path, you're going to have to clear the way first, which means smashing through the wall. So again, we kind of had a feeling something like this was coming, but it was interesting to see how it played out.
Yes. And I'm always looking out for symbolism. I'm
Mhm.
always looking out to see where the story has hinted that it's going in that direction. So I would like to just very briefly talk about in this scene, we see Acosta. And Acosta finds, I do not know the English name for this thing, the thing that she's looking at and you push and it shows you different pictures. What is this called? What she was looking at.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh geez, I'm blanking
It's
on
not
the
a
name right now.
projector.
Somebody in the chat will
Yes, I don't know the English name
now.
for this.
Yeah,
Viewfinder? A viewfinder?
you'll find
Um,
it.
sounds about right. So Acosta finds a finder. So now we know that she didn't find a yearbook, a picture,
Yeah,
Donna's other half of the picture. It was a viewfinder. That's what she
yeah.
found. Now,
Viewmaster. Viewmaster.
Mhm.
That's what I remember. I think Viewmaster is what I remember, but I could be wrong. Yeah, Viewmaster. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so she finds this, and they show us two pictures, which I think are very interesting pictures. I
Uh-huh.
think they add to the storyline. So the first picture is a Switzerland valley that has a depiction of a lake. This is a very famous Swiss lake.
Mm,
I cannot pronounce the name, but I know that it is in the Kender Valley. So this lake here, that is called the Kender Valley, and the lake was not a natural formation. It was
okay.
formed after the walls were created because of a natural catastrophe, sort of thing.
Mhm.
And this lake sits at top of Kinder Valley. So usually, you have the lakes down in the city or in the town or wherever it is that you live. In order to get to this lake, you have to climb up. So that's where the lake resides, which I thought was really interesting.
Mm,
If we're looking for a lake, we're looking for the Lake of Tears.
yeah.
This one is a famous one because it doesn't form at the bottom. It's not where a typical lake would be. You have to
Okay.
climb up. It's up there. The
Okay.
other picture that they show us is the picture of the pyramids. And that's something that Jade mentions. He mentions in his monologue, why did the Egyptians, you know, mummified, right? The rulers. Well, there is a picture of the pyramid showing us that this is where the bones were kept, where the
Mhm.
remains were honored, right?
Yep.
So when we put it together, I feel like they're saying the Lake of Tears and the bones. Take the bones to the Lake
Okay.
of Tears, potentially.
Okay.
This is tinfoil, you
No,
know?
I like it. I like this. I think I like this. I feel like it's not a coincidence that Jade is talking about how ancient Egyptians preserved their bodies while we're seeing, out of all the images in the world to be in that viewfinder, the pyramids of Giza.
Mhm.
No, that's very much symbolism.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm thinking if we put that together, berry tinfoil might be nothing, but I just thought they could have put any pictures there. They made that
Exactly.
up
Yeah.
and they chose to put these two pictures. So perhaps they're going to try to give them burial, but it's not enough. So I think that this is indicating that the burial is not going to be a typical sort of burial that the town has for everybody else and the children
Yeah.
will be satisfied.
No.
It has to be more grand, like the pyramids were for the mummified bodies.
Yeah. No, and I think that it would be the best way to go in terms of like the first thing that Jade tries can't be the thing that does it. It can't be. It just can't be that simple of just grabbing these bones, even if it is going to be kind of hard to get these bones going down into the caves and trying to navigate through that web, that maze, going that far deep into where that chamber was, collecting the bones and then making out with them alive. It's no small task. It really isn't. But even if he does do all of that and they do make it out of that cave with those bones, yeah, I do find it hard to believe that it's going to be as simple as them laying the bones to rest in some kind of ceremony, some kind of burial ceremony, and that's it. I don't see it being that easy. But then again, I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong. But I am looking forward to seeing where this is going to go. At least at this point, we have a direction, and our characters have a direction. They know where they're going, they know where they need to go, and they're convinced that these bones are the answer. Or at least Jade has some of them, or at least Jade is convinced that these bones are the answer. So if nothing else, we know where we're going to be heading. And it should be interesting to see how they go about trying to get these bones.
Yeah. Well, follow me. Let's go with this theory, okay? Emergent
Okay.
theory. Follow me. What do we know about the Lake of Tears? This Lake of Tears, where whenever they find it, is said to be a lake that is healing. That is what we're told.
Yeah.
That
And the
heals you.
the secret fairies will be coming from the Lake of Tears. Was an aspect.
It brings this Norman back to life, right?
Yes. Yep.
What is the number one question that we have all been asking, including Boyd? How do you save children
you
that are
save children
already dead? That
Tears.
could be the answer. You take them to the Lake of Tears.
That's a
That could
possibility.
heal them,
Mhm.
potentially even make them undead. I don't
That
think
is
that we're
one of the
going to be
possibilities.
looking at zombie children, but I think maybe they could be brought back to life by the Lake of Tears long enough to be able to be healed and then move on to the afterlife in a way that they are satisfied, that they feel avenged for what has happened. If you
Mhm.
put it all together, I think it makes sense. I know it sounds a little crazy, but
No,
they
not
have
at
been
all. No,
telling
no.
us.
Not at all. And we've discussed that in the past too. Like if this is an actual real lake and it does bring people back to life, then yeah, it stands to reason that maybe that'll be how you bring back the children. Maybe
Hmm. They've been telling us
if
this is
it's a lake.
healing. Somebody is dead, but you take them to the lake of tears and they can be saved. They could be healed. In order to save them, first we must heal them. So I'm thinking that that could be a possibility. Of course, there could be a billion other possibilities of where to put the bones of the children,
Yeah,
or if it's going to
if
require
it's an
something else.
actual
But I
lake.
think that's a possibility, you know.
Yeah. No, and again, and I think that's what's interesting about this Lake of Tears thing. Is it an actual lake, like an actual body of water, a magical body of water that they can find somewhere, or is it some kind of metaphor for something else? I think that's the question, really. Or is it going to be there at all? Up until this point, we haven't heard any other characters mention the Lake of Tears or it being a real thing, other than Ethan from this one encounter he had with this Jim figure. So I'm very intrigued to see if it is going to be like an actual thing. Again, one thing that makes me think it might actually be a part of the narrative is not just the Ethan encounter; it's the surrounding evidence that we've had in all of the previous seasons up until now. All of the different depictions, all of the different drawings of the Lake of Tears, Ethan having the dream in episode 2, like they have been laying some groundwork along the way for the Lake of Tears potentially being a thing. So I guess I wouldn't really be surprised if it does turn out to be real. But then again, what is the Lake of Tears at that point? Is it an actual lake or is it a metaphor for something else? But yeah, if it is an actual lake, could that be the answer for the Unkui children, bringing their bones to the Lake of Tears?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of been there, right? And that could be a possibility if you put these clues together that they have given us in the episode,
Mhm.
along with the Coraline, excuse me, not Caroline, Coraline theory. I think that what we are looking at is children wanting to be avenged for neglect, because that is the storyline of Caroline. It
Yeah.
is about child neglect. The person that wrote that story said this is just a metaphor for the way that children view themselves and view their parents. They have an other mother, and the other mother and other father are the good ones, and the
Hmm.
real ones are the bad ones.
Hmm.
So I think when you look at it, they're it's cheesy. I know it's cheesy because when I saw it in the episode, I thought, oh no, like it is a little cheesy, but I
Yeah.
think it still could make for a good story when Ethan says, "You told me to have courage because it's courage that makes us heroes." It sounds super cheesy, but then I thought that might just be the point of the story. Whether we like it or not, it might be something as cheesy as the characters need to have enough courage to make it through the difficult situations that they will encounter.
Hmm. And again, at the end of the day, with all of the mystery and intrigue and all the supernatural that the show is wrapped in, at its core, at its foundation, is a very human story dealing with very real human issues. And that is very much one of them, being able to deal with fear, being able to deal with guilt, being able to deal with trauma, not letting these things conquer you, not letting these things destroy you and turn you into something else. I think we have a lot of our characters on the show that are cautionary tales of what trauma can actually do to you, like Victor and Henry and many others. And then I think you have some other characters who could also be examples of how to handle these things in a little bit more of a healthy manner and be able to deal with some of them, like Kenny, for instance, the way that he's been able to deal with his grief for losing both of his parents. Like it's kind of turned him into a stronger person. So I feel like the show has, again, a lot of these supernatural elements, but at the core, it's really got a lot of these good human elements as well. But yeah, I think that'll be interesting to find out what's going on with this whole Lake of Tears. And yes, Ghost Jim is the other father.
But he is. He
Yep.
is. Okay, so in Coraline, like I said, the children create this fantasy world. It's a metaphor, but in the storyline, it's real. There's another mother and another father, and they look just like your parents. So your other father would look just like your dad. But you
Interesting.
know what's crazy about the other father? He looks messy. Coraline's parents don't look so messy. and the other mother and the other father present differently. The other father particularly has messy hair.
Yeah.
And something that's really interesting and connects Jim to the storyline is that for the other father, when he's alone with Coraline, he tries to talk to her and like very briefly in a manner where he's like, she's gonna try to sew buttons on you, like trying to kind of help her, but he's
Yeah.
always looking over his shoulder because he's afraid that the other mother, who by the way turns into a spider, is going to
saw that in the chat.
hear what he's saying. So he kind of communicates with her as Caroline's father, but he can't speak freely because the other mother, the spider, is always listening. And how was Jim acting? He was messy and he kept looking over his shoulder. He
Looking
was acting
around,
like the other father.
Yeah.
And the fact that Coraline's other mother turns into a spider, that can't be a coincidence. It's Coraline.
Oof. Lot of similarities there. Wow. Lot of similarities between Coraline and this episode. That's pretty, and not just this episode, but the show in general now. Wow. And it seems like a lot of people are agreeing. A lot of people are liking the theory as well. And again, it's kind of, it's hard to, at the very least, it is hard to deny that there are a lot of parallels there, whether they're on purpose or accidental. You know, that I guess you can debate that, but this seems a little too similar to be accidental. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some inspiration taken from it. These are some very, very similar parallels, and quite a lot of them. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Welcome. Katrina Marie says, I get there just the tip of the spear, but I'm tired of no nightmare episodes. I want creatures. And I get that. And again, you're definitely not the only one. We've been seeing tons of comments saying the exact same thing, pretty much, that people want to see more monsters. And I do too. I definitely do. I miss the monsters. I feel like the monsters have always been such a great part of the show. They made the show great in the first place. Again, the main villain is here, Sophia is here, so I get a lot of screen time has to go to her. But man, come on, throw us a monster scene or two. The From fandom is hankering for some monsters. We want some monster action, especially with Smiley coming back again. You brought back one of your greatest monsters, the greatest monster you had on the show. You brought back to life. And here we are 6 episodes in, and we haven't seen him practically at all, other than that one little scene in episode 1. So yeah, I get it. I totally understand, guys. Totally understand, those of you that do want to see more monsters.
It just doesn't feel like From, right, Katrina? It
Without
doesn't
a-
feel like From if we don't have, just give us a little shot, an iconic little shot of the nurse monster walking down the street, something, because it really doesn't feel like From. I understand that they're just the tip of the spear and they're not as important, but I do kind of feel offended for them. It's like for so long they were the horror. How dare you just leave them behind? Show us a little monster here and there, right? It doesn't feel like From, and maybe that's what we're missing. I have
Mhm.
been hearing a lot of people say the same thing. They're not having the same vibe or feeling as
Mhm.
past seasons. And I wonder if showing us a couple of monsters here and there would help.
Yeah.
I think it would help me for sure.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it could. I definitely think it could. Again, it's not just you. It's not just a few people in the chat saying it now. We've been getting so many comments over the weeks, over the months now, of people saying the same thing. Like, oh, they want more monsters. They want more monsters in the episode. They miss the monsters. And again, I do too. I definitely want to see some more monster scenes, especially with Smiley back. It's like you brought Smiley back to life. Like, come on, let's get some Smiley action. How are we 6 episodes in and we haven't seen Smiley? And again, like you said, even if it's just quick little snippet scenes, like Fatima said a few episodes, she keeps dreading the night that she goes to her window, looks down, and sees Smiley looking up at her, smiling. You could do that at a split second, just a split second scene that takes around 5 to 7 seconds of screen time, doesn't take anything, and boom, on to the next. But it gives us the feeling that these monsters are still there, The monsters are still right there in the forest. They're still watching. They're still waiting waiting to capitalize, waiting to get inside. And it was having that feeling is what made part of From really good, knowing that it's this constant threat 24/7. These monsters are always outside watching and just waiting for their chance to get in. So yeah, I do think a quick little scene here and there, especially during the nighttime scenes of our characters just looking out of that window and just seeing the monsters there, just kind of reminding everyone that yes, they are still there watching everyone. They're still there waiting to get in. And especially with the whole Smiley and Fatima thing, like, come on, you got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and I stand correct that we did see monsters. It hasn't been 6 episodes, no monsters. We saw them when
But they weren't really monsters, though. Like, I mean, we saw
them when Sophia, right? She was outside, and Kenny was like, "What the hell are you doing outside?" And they started circling, right? So that was like one of those good monster scenes where they're just walking very slowly towards you. Yeah, we need more of that.
But since then, all we've gotten has been monsters in story walking visions with Julie, when Julie story walked back to season 2. And then when Jade went down to the caves, which turned out to be another vision. So we're not getting real monster action, at least not enough of it. So I understand what people are saying, I guess. I do understand. For those of you who want more Smiley, I get it. I do too. I do too. But of course, Jade and Boyd go back down to the cellar and they see that the wall is all walled up, which we had a feeling was potentially going to be a possibility just based on the trailers that they have already released. And in these episode synopsis, it did state that Boyd and Jade are going to start becoming at odds over whether or not they can trust the information inside Jade's head. And here we started to see a little bit of that. We started to see a little bit of that ground get kind of shaky between Boyd and Jade, where it's been pretty strong for the most part up until now. But I thought it was pretty interesting to see how they continued to work through their issues over the course of the entire episode. So by the time they get to the end, they're kind of back like on, the same page, I guess you could say. But it was fun. It was interesting to see a little bit of a kink kind of get thrown into this relationship midway through the season, really, and to see how they react and adapt to that.
Yeah, and I think that it speaks volumes as to the ability of this specific group of 47 people to work together. I don't think that the previous townspeople have been able to get through these little kinks. Like you said, you have to smooth those out and continue onto the journey, supporting each other, right? Jade can't do it alone. And perhaps the other versions of Jade didn't have a town that had a Boyd who was so supportive that he was able to move past it, to help and support him. We see how much they love each other. When Donna is having her situation, you could see how much they love each other and how they're coming together. I'm sure we'll get to that scene and talk about that. But I think they're showing us what makes them special. Why this group of 47? They could have shown us any group of 47. Now that we know that it has been a cycle, why did the writer decide to show us this specific group? There's something special about them.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like you said, all the cycles in the world, why would they choose to tell their story right now in this current timeline? It's because this is going to be the timeline that's different. This is going to be the timeline that finally gets further than the rest, that finally actually has a real chance at breaking this, where the rest have just failed. And yeah, I think, like you said, it's probably a good kind of combination of this cycle just having the right pieces in the right place at the right time, maybe for the first time ever. Out of all the different iterations, out of all the different combinations, over all the many years and centuries, this one might actually be the one that finally got it right, that finally got the perfect mix of people that can finish this thing. And again, it makes you wonder just how many tries have come before them. Could have been quite a lot if we're, from what we've been led to believe anyway, potentially hundreds or thousands even. But yeah, I think this is going to be the group that does it. I definitely think this is going to be the group that does it. All right, let's continue on. We got Boyd and Jade. Next, we get to Kenny and Boyd. And here we just see, and I actually liked seeing this scene, even though it's not like super necessary narrative wise. It is still nice on a character development level and a nice character driven scene to see that even throughout all of this craziness, Boyd is still taking the time to update Kenny, to bring Kenny up to speed on everything that's going on. Because again, Boyd has been slowly kind of building Kenny up to take over for him at one point. At one point, Boyd does feel that he's going to be out of commission, either getting killed or by the Parkinsons. But at one point, Boyd does feel that Kenny's going to have to take over. So I love that even through all of this craziness, Boyd is still taking the time to make sure that he is continuing to prep Kenny for one day taking over for him and filling him in on everything he needs to know. So I love seeing that Boyd has the presence of mind to still do that.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because Boyd says it in a way where he's like, "Don't get pissed off," because we know that the problems between them have been Boyd not telling him things, and he's like, "Well, am I your deputy or what?" And he's like, "Yes, you are. Well, you're keeping things from me, right?" So he knows that he doesn't like that. Even that, still, he's like, "Calm down. I wasn't like on purpose keeping it from you. That's why I'm letting you know right now." But I laughed. I was like, he knows that Kenny's very sensitive about him keeping things from him. And he's making sure to tell him, like, I've been super busy. That's why I'm barely telling you this. I thought it was fun.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a fun scene. And, you know, the way that Boyd describes things can be kind of funny sometimes, too. But yeah, no, I thought this was a really good one. I really enjoyed this scene. I've loved seeing the growth of Kenny from the child that he practically was in season 1 to the kind of young man that he's grown up into, here in season 4. He's come a long way, and that is very much thanks to Boyd and being under Boyd's tutelage. Being able to learn from someone like Boyd that close hand to hand every single day, that is going to have an effect on you. Unless you're just not fucking paying attention, that is going to have an effect on you in a very positive manner in terms of discipline and skill and everything that Kenny's going to need to take over for Boyd one day. So again, I just, in the midst of all of this chaos, I like seeing that Boyd is still taking the time to continue to get Kenny ready for one day taking over and just keeping him up to date on what he needs to know. It is his deputy after all, too. So yeah, huge growth. Definitely a lot of growth from Kenny. A lot of growth. But yeah, really good scene. But of course, then this ends up leading to a little crisis as the people of Colony House realize that Victor is up on the roof. Now, this was very interesting. Again, when we saw this, I'm like, wait a minute. When we saw this in the trailer, I think a lot of us thought Victor being on the roof was going to be a result of whoever was getting CPR. And then boom, we have this happening long before the CPR scene happens. And I'm like, okay, what the heck's going on? Why is Victor up there in the first place? And he looks a little despondent, looks a little bit out of it. And, we hear a little bit from him. You can kind of tell his state of mind isn't in the best place in the world, but he doesn't seem to be suicidal. He talks about how a man jumped off this roof one day and it took him days to die. But it doesn't seem like he was suicidal in this moment. What do you think, PM?
Yeah. So there was something really interesting about this scene for me and what Victor says. It doesn't seem suicidal, but he's putting himself in the shoes, if you will, of that man that he saw when he was a child.
Yes.
And then the way that he describes that man, he says this man was trying to fix things, but he only made things worse. So he threw himself off this roof.
The parallel. Yeah.
Okay. If he feels like he is in the shoes of that man, I think that this gives the people that believe that there is always a Victor sort of form and that somebody's going to have to take over for Victor if they don't complete the journey. I think that this is more evidence for you guys. you guys that have believed that the town always keeps a child, and this time it happens to be Victor, I think that this is evidence that you guys might be right, because if that man had so many like similarities as to trying to fix things but making things worse, struggling, knowing more than others, that information being the cause of problems, and Victor feels a kinship, then maybe he's letting us know there was a man like me before me. And after him, maybe Ethan will be like, yeah, there was a guy here named Victor, and he used to do all of these things. They draw together. So almost like there is a chain of children that have been left behind. I think that this is evidence for those of you that believe that that is how the town works. You might be right. There must have been another Victor figure before him.
There could be. And I mean, and there was even one scene in particular when Ethan and Victor are drawing together. The camera pans out and you can just see them, and it's almost like they're mirroring each other, like they're completely just paralleling each other. It almost looks like they're doing the exact same thing. And I think it's right around here. But it just gave me that eerie feeling that, holy shit, like is Ethan the next Victor? Like, are these two a little more similar than we thought? Yeah, this right here, this one. Just look at that parallel. No?
Yeah.
So
And
creepy.
it's right after he tells us there was a man here who tried to fix things, and he came up here. He threw himself from here. Why does he feel drawn to go up there? He's letting us know he was like me. This is the only other person that, like me, tried to fix things and made things worse. So I think that this might be evidence that that is part of the storyline. A child is always left behind. A child that grows up to not be able to help them, who grows up traumatized. So the reason why Victor survived, a lot of people have been asking, how can he survive? He's just a little boy. Because the town wanted him to. If you're always supposed to keep a child that grows into adulthood until they take their own life, then that means that the monsters would have left them alone. The town would have provided. The town provides them with food in one way or another by having magical crops out of nowhere, right? So perhaps he's alive because the town wanted him to live, because there's always a Victor.
Oh, interesting. Maybe. When I saw this shot here, like this shot, I'm like, okay, this is a very interesting, very deliberate shot that the director is trying to kind of convey here, and that is showing this parallel that is developing between Victor and Ethan, because they do share a lot of parallels in terms of the characters that they're portraying. Does that mean they're going to suffer the same fate? Maybe not. I'm not sure. But at the very least, I feel like they are very much showing us and telling us that these two characters, at the very least, parallel each other very similarly, like super similarly. And yeah, who knows? Could that potentially lead to them having a similar outcome as well? Or at least was Ethan meant to become meant to have a similar fate to Victor? But maybe if this cycle finds a way to somehow break the cycle, maybe Ethan can avoid becoming the next Victor. Again, it just very much looks like they are very much showing us as the audience that these two characters parallel each other quite a lot.
Yeah. If they don't succeed, Ethan, if he's lucky, will end up being the next Victor. And I say if he's lucky, he will become Victor, because this is what I believe. Do you remember that Jade, Little Boy in Blue, said for Tabitha, it's much worse than what happens to Jade? What happens to Jade is he's killed by the people that he's grown to like and call community. Now, for Tabitha, when you think of iconic storylines in media, in cinema, one of the most infamous ways of making a mother suffer is Sophie's Choice.
Yes.
Have you seen Sophie's Choice?
Oh, I mean, we've discussed it numerous times here on the channel. You've brought it up quite a few times.
Sophie's Choice?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I totally blanked out. I didn't realize I had talked about Sophie's Choice.
Oh, we talked
Um,
about Sophie's Choice many, many times,
yeah.
in particular in relation to Miranda and her
Mm,
potentially facing
I
something.
totally forgot. But I'm bringing it back up because I do believe that when you put Tabitha in the position of Sophie's Choice, what is Sophie's Choice? For those of you that do not know what this is an iconic movie in which a mother is given the option. She has two children. She has to decide which one lives and which one dies, right? And so that's very difficult for a mother. You're choosing who to kill, right?
Mhm.
Now, the one that lives, you're not giving him a good life. That doesn't necessarily mean that they get to go on and have the best life ever. That means that they live forever traumatized. So, in reality, it's not just a choice of who lives and who dies, it is a choice of who do you want to traumatize and have lived that fate,
Mm.
and who do you
Yeah.
want to just kill, right?
Okay.
So it's a bad, a lose-lose situation. And
Yeah.
I think that if Miranda was given Sophie's choice, she probably chose to kill Eloise and let
Oof.
Victor live,
Oof.
knowing neither of the choices are good. Because dying is not good, but Victor would end up living in hell. So she chose to kill Eloise and leave Victor behind. And I think if they don't succeed, Tabitha's gonna have to choose between Julie and Ethan. Who do you
Mm,
kill and who is left behind?
mm. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, that's that it could be a very grim possibility, a very grim, bittersweet, mostly bitter outcome where a parent is forced to choose. And of course, the show has kind of already set up this precedent in a sense. Not It's not exactly a Sophie's choice of sense, but it is a very similar situation that Boyd had to go through when Boyd was forced in a very split second to choose between his wife and his son. Yes, it's not choosing between his two children, but it is choosing between the two people that he loves most in this world. The two people that he would do anything for, that he would die for. And we've seen that precedent set up where sometimes characters are put into these situations where there is no good option, there is no good choice. It's really just a matter of which choice is the one that you can live with the most. And Boyd did what he did. Boyd did what he thought was the right choice in that moment. He made the choice that he thought he could live with, that he thought his wife would probably want him to do. And I think he was right. And I think most parents would have made a similar choice in choosing their child. It's not like Boyd had time to think about it. It's not like he had time to confer with Abby and say, get the confirmation that this is what she wanted. This was a split second choice based on nothing more than a parent's instinct to protect their child. But again, very similar to a Sophie's Choice, where a parent is literally forced to choose between their children. Like Blood and Cheese, for all of our House of the Dragon fans out there, anybody who has seen House of the Dragon, Blood and Cheese has a very similar scene with a very similar outcome, where a mother is forced to choose between her two children, which one lives, which one dies. Very gruesome scene, very famous gruesome scene from the book. But yeah, I have to imagine it's one of the worst, if not the worst, choices a parent could face.
Hmm. Um, I mean, I have a parent's perspective, so for me, I see it differently. I think when it comes to Boyd, that's an easy choice to make.
Oh
At
yeah, it
least
was
for
an
me,
easy
from a
choice.
parent's perspective.
Easy.
It is
Yeah.
very easy because one is your child, the other one is an adult, it is your wife. Your duty is to protect this child, this person that you brought into being. And so even though it's difficult, I'm not saying that it's a walk in the park,
I
but
think
that
that's
one is like clearly all of us that are parents can come to a conclusion quickly. Like
and that's why I think
that's
he
what
was
I
just
choose.
going right off instinct, and it was a very easy choice for him to make. It was just the instinct to protect his child, and that's all he
Mhm.
needed.
Yeah. Now, what would be more difficult is between your children. And
Yes,
it's not just the fact that it is, oh, I'm choosing between my children, but it is the fact that they are right in front of you, they are looking at you, and you are condemning them. and they will remember, whoever you choose to have killed will remember that you said their name and you chose them.
That's the fucking hard part. The
That
one
is hell.
spy. That's the
It's, I
fucking
mean, if you could just do it privately as something,
Yep.
but to say it in front of your children, because they're holding both of them and they're just going to return one to live in hell. He's not even going to get a good life, but the
No.
other one they're going to kill. And your little girl has to look you in the
Has
face
to
as you
live
say,
with it and
I
know
pick
that.
Eloise.
And know that. Yeah.
I mean, that is hardcore. That is difficult. That is
It's-
something that I don't know if I would be able to choose between two of my children.
Oh man, I don't know. And you know what could, and for again going back to the House of the Dragon reference, House of the Dragon took the decision one step further and kind of made it even more gruesome, where they made the mother choose which one lives and which one dies. The mother picked, and they killed the opposite one. They killed the one that she didn't choose, and they left the one alive that she did choose to die. So that kid had to go the rest of its life knowing that its mother chose him to die.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think at this point we're all expecting a Sophie's Choice situation because it's iconic. I mean, who doesn't know? If you're a Game of Thrones fan, then Game of Thrones. If you are not, then Sophie's Choice. It is almost impossible to have consumed any media and not get across this infamous way of making a mother suffer.
And
So
From's
that's what I'm
already-
expecting.
And From's already kind of not Sophie's Choice so much in a sense, but From did start on child sacrifice too.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a dark story with a very dark origin. From very dark origin.
Mhm.
But yeah, the parallels here between Ethan and Victor definitely very prevalent, and it'll be interesting to see where they go. Now, this was a nice scene. This was a nice, heartwarming scene. Sarah and Julie together. Julie just coming up to Sarah's house and kind of just, leveling with her, telling her, she's sorry and stuff like that about, she kind of better understands what Sarah has been through now after everything that Julie has been through. So I thought this was a really good scene and a really good step of Sarah and Julie kind of, mending fences and becoming closer friends to the point where Sarah offers Julie to help paint and, with a big smile on her face. And Julie helps her. It was just a nice human moment in the midst of all this chaos. We have all this craziness going on, yet every once in a while you can find two kind of kids, because Sarah and Julie, they are kids pretty much still. Even in the midst of all this chaos, you can see two kids just having fun painting a room together, something normal that they would have been doing if they were in the real world, not moments that they get a whole lot of in Fromville. So this was a good scene between Julie and Sarah, I thought.
I really like this scene.
Yeah.
Golden Child, of course, cracking jokes. The chat is hilarious. Sarah and Muppet Baby. The wig is still bad. The wig is still wigging, but you know what? It's endearing. It's endearing at this point. I really wish when they were having the conversation, I really wish that Sarah had asked a little bit more, or Julie had said why she believes that, because the way she explains it, it just sounds to me like somebody told her in her head, just like Sarah, hey, you could go back in time and save your dad. But she didn't tell her, I can actually do this. Like when I go to the ruins, this is what I see. Because remember, Sarah can be very helpful. When they went into the ruins with Sarah, she could hear what was happening in a different timeline. She could hear the timeline in which the ruins were not ruins. They were a full-on building, and she was trying to find the music box because mentally she was in that timeline, but physically she wasn't there. So Sarah could be very helpful. If she was to tell her, Sarah could tell her, it's true, I've heard it, and I heard you when you were there. But this is From. They are cryptic when they speak in riddles. So of course there was no follow-up, and instead we got more talk about donuts and gummy bears
and irritating wigs. It was I like seeing a good human moment between them in the midst of all of this craziness, all of this chaos. But but yeah, again, the wig, again, the wig kind of does throw you off a little bit every time. I mean, it's not bad in shots like this, but anytime you have a shot where it's kind of like a close up of Julie, like it's super noticeable that it's not even her same hair color. Like she had a totally different color hair when she cut this. They didn't even get something that matched her color. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a wig hater. But the wig is I feel like it's just getting more and more noticeable. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I think you have wig envy, Jeremy. You have wig
Yeah,
envy. You
I might.
envy her wig,
I
and
might.
therefore you do not like it.
Is that
Um,
it? Is that what's going
I
on
think
here?
it's wig envy. But you
Damn
know
it.
what? If they were able to just straighten out that hair, it is very voluminous. And one thing that I think was very aesthetic about her hair, her natural hair, is that it
Mhm.
was very straight and flat. It was no frizz at all, very straight and flat. So if they could just give her a bob that lays correctly, that is, not as puffy, I think that that could work. But once again, we could come up with 1,000,000,001 ideas as to how to correct the wig. I think at this point, we just have to embrace the wig, become one with the wig. We have to
Embrace the
become
bob.
one with the wig, embrace
The
the
bob.
wig. Yeah, welcome the wig into the family and just, keep
Ah,
going. They're not going to fix that thing. It's staying. So we might as well make peace.
Papa Joe says she found the wig by the pool next to the missing motel.
Mm. It makes me think, Papa Joe, that wig has had some life. Why is it
Oh
in
god.
between the pool and a motel? What was it doing there? What previous life
Who
was this
left it
wig
there?
living?
Yeah, who wore it before her? How to get
Who wore
there?
it to the motel?
We need an origin for this wig now. Yeah, Julie's hair is getting crazy as Jade's hair. The corner store wig. We need to set it on fire and bury it.
I
Oh,
like Katrina
God.
Marie's. She looks like Boo from Monsters Inc. She does. She looks so much like Boo from Monsters Inc. I
Oh,
think it's
God.
it's a really cute
The way
haircut.
she
The bob is so cute.
came from
Oh
Colony
my
out of the
god.
basement.
Now that one I would rather wear the wig that was
Oh,
found next
shit.
to the motel and between the motel and the pool than any wig
Yeah.
that came from Colony House. Any wig that's there is filthy.
Oh, fuck,
The wig
chat.
is the real big bad.
Fuck, chat.
Mhm.
You guys, fuck. Oh, man. Yeah, they actually took the opportunity to completely dye her hair brown to blonde, so she chose to wear this ugly ass wig. Again, it's if it was the same color hair as her previous hair, I think maybe it would look a little more natural. But I think for me, that's as big a part of what's throwing it off is just not just the shape of the wig itself, but it's a completely different color. It's so much darker than her hair was. So I think that's just as big of a thing that's throwing me off as the actual shape of the wig. Jade's afro. She is the cyberpunk version of Julie, who is a time traveler. She just didn't figure out yet how to use the time traveling ticket / bookmarks. Maybe this is true. Maybe this is true. Wig was created out of crow hair.
Oh,
All right, you guys are
the
killing
wig
me
was created out of crow hair. Oh my
now.
god. I think
Yeah,
that's
it's so
pretty
obvious a
bad.
wig, but makes it hard to unsee. It breaks my immersion. It kind of does a little bit, right, Jeffrey? So, all right, I'm not just alone, right? I'm not crazy. I'm not just super crazy here. It does not like super bad, right? But like for a split second, every time I see a Julie scene, it's like I have to stop and think. It's like, holy shit, the fake wig. Like you can't not notice it now. So yeah, it does it's just something I can never unsee, I guess. So
Okay,
I'm
I'm
glad I'm
giving
not alone.
points here to Sunflower. I'm giving Sunflower points. Julie is now looking more like Jade's daughter. Jade and Tabby's previous daughter. You know that she has black hair too, and it's like missing in some pieces, but she is. I mean, look how pale she is. Rip a couple of hairs from that wig, and she could definitely look like that little girl. I think we were all wondering what happened to the children's hair, and maybe they gave them a bad wig and they ripped it off their head. And that's how they ended up. They're like, you know what? No hair is better than bad hair. So we're just going to rip this off. But Star also, where is her baby hair? I think if they added a little bit of baby hair, they could fix it. But once again, we could come up with like a billion solutions for the wig. It's staying. So we have to make peace with it.
Yeah. The wig needs its own origin story episode at this point. I agree. Star God's channel. I agree. It does.
I would love that. I would love
Put the wig on Roger. Yeah. Let's fucking throw it on Roger. Man, good stuff. This fucking chat is the best. All right, let's continue, shall we? Man, I could laugh at the wig jokes all day. I could. I love.
We need to do a wig stream where we go through all of the
wigs, all the bad wigs, and from. There's quite a few. I mean, there's two very glaring ones in this season alone with Julie's and fucking Jim's. Jim's wig was terrible. But yeah, maybe that'll
Chat,
be.
have you seen? Jeremy has not seen this, so it's missed on Jeremy. Okay, it just goes over his head because he hasn't seen it. But chat, have you seen that like infamous meme where it's like, "Do you like wigs?" And he's like, "Yeah." "Will you wear wigs?" "No." "When will you wear wigs?" And it was like a question all about wigs, and it was with that character that plays Daniel Radcliffe. Is that his name? Yes, Daniel Radcliffe.
Harry Potter?
Do you like wigs? Yeah.
Do
That's
you
the
like
one.
wigs? Jeremy, if you ever Julie to come on, you need to ask her about her wig. Oh yeah, if the actress ever comes on, no, I don't know if I could do that. I mean, but maybe, yeah. I mean, hey, gotta ask the guests what the chat wants to ask, what the chat wants asked, right? So I guess I would have to. Yeah. But yeah, shit. My side hurts from laughing so hard at this fucking wig. Jesus Christ. All right, let's continue on. Next, we got some Victor action, and again, Victor's a little out of it. He's definitely he's going through it. Victor is really going through it ever since he started to think about this man in yellow again, and what he saw. This is maybe one of Victor's deepest traumas that he's probably ever uncovered, maybe. Especially considering, Victor seems to be blaming himself right now for everything that Henry's doing, everything that Henry's going through. Victor feels if he never would have told Henry about what happened, maybe Henry wouldn't be going off on this spiral right now. So yeah, poor Victor is going through it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going through it. The most interesting thing that he said to me was that part about there being a man that did this exact thing when he was a child. I want to know more about that man, but I will say something that I really, really liked about the scene was the way that we see Boyd speaking to Victor.
Yeah.
Boyd does such an amazing job
so
of
good with him.
speaking to people in the way that they need most at that time. He is a very resilient and strong man, but when he needs to be soft, he's soft.
Yeah.
He's calm. And he approaches people with a very soft tone, which I think is, I love Boyd, so I always say that's the mark of a truly strong man, that when they need to be soft, they know. And they know to change that. And the way he just approached them with so much sympathy, with so much care, I just thought I would get off the roof too if I was gonna like throw myself. Like, he's being so nice, he's being so sweet,
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not gonna make you do anything that you don't want to do, but do you think you could remember some things? Victor always says to people, no, because it's only gonna hurt people. But what did he say to Boy? He said, I'll try.
Yes.
That, I was so proud of him. I was like, yes, maybe all these children need is Boyd. The children behave when Boyd talks to them. Ethan troublemaker. But as soon as Boyd told him, "You can't be running out into the street. You're more problematic than helpful," he
Yeah.
listened to
He
him.
listened.
And
Right.
Victor has never wanted to share any information. Even
Yeah.
with his dad, he's been, kind of hesitant. But when Boyd asks him and tells him, "I'm not going to force you, I'm not going to make you do anything you don't want to do," he says, "I will try," which for
Try.
Victor is super growth. That's a whole lot of
It's
growth.
such a big moment for Victor, and you're right. That was my initial reaction to it as well. It's like, okay, this is good to see for Victor. This is really good character growth on his part. Just because, like you said, he always just shuts down in moments like that, and he doesn't want to say anything. He doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't even want to think about it. But we are seeing real growth from Victor. We're seeing him finally start to build up some of the courage that is needed to start to talk about and face some of these things. Something as horrific as the Man in Yellow and what else he could potentially know about him. And yeah, I mean, what more can I say about Harold Perrineau that you didn't already say? Like, he was just so good with Victor. Not everybody has the right kind of demeanor, the right kind of tone to handle somebody like Victor, or the knowledge to handle, or the emotional maturity to handle somebody like Victor. But Boyd, he's just one of those people where you can put him in any situation with any kind of personality, and he'll be able to get through to that person. I genuinely feel Boyd just has that quality in him where he can genuinely kind of get through to almost anyone if he wanted to. And it was good. It was really good to see how and not just in this scene, but if you go back and look at all of the scenes that Victor and Boyd are in, they don't have a ton of scenes, but they do have some. And another one that comes to mind is when Victor pulls the gun on Randall. We see how Boyd is treating Victor in that scene as well, just like he is right here, with this very same kind of cool demeanor, that soft tone, that kind of sense of giving Victor a choice, not telling Victor what to do, asking Victor what to do, asking Victor if he will do this, giving Victor a choice to stop or not. So every time you see Boyd in these situations, he just always does really good.
I love when Victor pulled that gun because it was iconic. You could tell that wasn't his first time pulling a gun because he didn't do it like, "Oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing." He was
doing
even like sideways, like, "I've done this a lot." Like, you don't even know. And he didn't hesitate. He was like, "My friend and his goat are in trouble." Like, he was so ready to pull that gun. I love that scene. I feel like it's so iconic, Victor's gun, But yeah, when it comes to Boyd, you don't, even in the real world, you do not meet a lot of people like Boyd. You just don't. You don't come across a lot of Boyd type of men who know that strength at times means being soft and being calm. You do not come across a lot of men like him. And I think that that is what's going to make this 47, I'm calling them the 47 now. I think that that is what's going to make the 47 successful, that they have a Boyd and the others didn't have a Boyd. Boyd can talk to anyone and everyone, and he can adapt to their style, and he can convince you based on what motivates you. Maybe those other previous 47, they didn't have a Boyd style of character, but I think that he's the difference between winning and losing for Jade and Tabitha because of who he is. Mr. Fish and Loaves, he is a savior. What
Mr.
is being Mr. Fish and Loaves? It is salvation. Literally, his character is the symbolism of salvation,
offering
and
people hope
when there is hopelessness. So I think that, he is their biggest
asset, without a doubt.
Yes. And it makes me wish that Ellis appreciated him more, because I just think, like, oh my God, like, he's so cool to have a dad like Boyd. He's so cool. Like, Ellis, what the hell are you doing? You don't appreciate your dad enough.
Well, and it's another reason why I really like Boyd so much, and I know you've echoed similar sentiment, where he, there's aspects of Boyd that remind us of our parents, of our fathers, and how our fathers are in certain ways. And I think that just makes him that much more of a relatable character for a lot of people. because I think a lot of people see similar aspects to their own father inside Boyd in some of the ways that he handles things. But yeah, this was just a really, really, really good episode for Howard Perrineau. I mean, the writing was really set up for him to really shine in this episode, and he did. He took advantage of that opportunity, and he really did shine in this episode. And we haven't even got to his best performance yet, which we will definitely get to.
I mean, I like what you just said. In this episode, the whole time I was just thinking, this is the best role he's ever been in. This character
This was
was
great.
made for this actor. This
Yeah.
actor embodies Boyd so well, so
Yeah.
perfectly, like so perfectly. He goes through 500 emotions in one episode. He goes from thing after thing after thing, and they all have a different tone. And yeah, I like what Star said. He will even slap you if you need it. A man protects his family. Iconic, iconic. But it also goes to the episode and the scene that we're talking about. In this scene, there's something really important that Victor says to us. Victor says something that I suspected all along. I suspected and I have claimed that Henry just isn't, there's different qualities of fathers, okay? We're all trying our best. That is what we strive to be, the best parent that we could be. But it would be a lie if we don't say that there are better parents than others, people that are doing a better job than others. Boyd is doing a much better job than Henry.
Yes.
And Victor verbalizes this to us. Victor tells us in this episode while he's coloring, he says, my mother,
Henry
your mom is, she's strong. Your mother is strong. My mom was strong like that. She would smile when she was afraid because she knew if she didn't, we would be afraid.
Yeah.
I don't believe my dad is
Has
strong
that
like
strength.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's something that I have been, I'm sorry, I know a lot of you like Henry, but when it comes to the questions that he's asking, the best case scenario as to why he doesn't ask for his daughter and as to why he drinks instead of being by his son's side is that he can't handle the truth. He can handle the truth. That's the best case scenario. Like, oh, shoot, I don't want to hear what happened to my daughter. That's too much.
Yeah. Where Boyd
You know
can
what?
face these things head on and have no problem dealing with them, and not only dealing with them, but learning from them and teaching others to kind of come to terms with them as well. Where Henry kind of regresses and kind of falls back into the bottle.
Yeah. And my personal opinion, this is my personal opinion as a parent, but a coward does not make a good parent. If you want to strive to be the best parent that you could be, a coward you cannot be. You have to embrace even the most horrifying situations with strength. Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. Because if you're horrified, you have little children that are looking to you for support. And a coward doesn't make for a good parent. Unfortunately, if Henry's not asking about his daughter, it's because he doesn't feel that he has the strength to hear that they might have done something horrible to her. And that's not helpful. Also, he's messed up, right? He's all messed up in the head. Oh my God, they ate my wife. The man in yellow ate her. As a parent, to me, I would just think, my personal opinion, if I'm messed up in the head about this, my son is way more messed up in the head because that's his mother. He was little. He saw it. I only have to hear about it. He saw everything. That is why he's so traumatized. I would be right next to him. Henry doesn't even know that his son is on top of the roof right now. He's at the bar. He doesn't even know his kid is on top of the roof. He doesn't even know what's going on with Victor. So once again, my personal opinion, but
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, again, Henry has some flaws when it comes to his his parenting with him, trying to relate to Victor, take care of Victor, be the best father he can be for Victor. He stumbles, he falls, and we're seeing that he's in a pretty big slump right now. But Boyd, Boyd has just not many people have Boyd's inner strength, I guess. Boyd has that kind of that deep-seated inner strength where he's just so committed to his duty. He's so committed to his family, so committed to his loved ones that he doesn't let himself slip. He doesn't let himself kind of catch himself falling or anything like that. He's always on point. And that is something that Henry could learn from. But yeah, this was again, this was just such a good episode for Harold Perrin, who he really, really shined in this one. And again, we still haven't even got to his best freaking scene yet. But up next, we get back to the Colony House shed, and here we see Donna and Tabitha revealing to Boyd and Kenny about everything that happened at Cannibal Village, and how these totems here were actually the answer to killing these nightmares that came out of the forest. And I think it was a good idea that they brought some of these back with them. And we talked a little bit about this, in between the episodes, wondering, will they bring some of these totems back? Will we see some other nightmares get manifested in the forest? I mean, I have to imagine we're going to continue to see characters die. NPC Roger just died a very gruesome death. Maybe one of his fears could eventually pop up at some point. Again, we're still not quite sure how the fears are chosen and how they manifest in the forest. But at times, some people's fears can be manifested here when they die. And at least now they'll have maybe some kind of protection against these nightmares. But I guess that is the question. These totems here, are they only going to protect against the nightmares that we already saw, the doll scarecrow nightmares, or could these totems work against any nightmare that gets manifested in the forest? I guess is the question. Is this a universal weapon for the nightmares out there, the true nightmare creatures? But either way, they brought some back to Colony House. They brought some back to town. So they are at least armed with something that they might be able to defend themselves with if more nightmare creatures show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that they brought them back, but they left the one that was stuck on that one that they stabbed. They left it there just in case. Because what about if you remove it and it comes back
And
to
it
life?
comes back, yeah.
However, it reminds us there's still two little dollies that are on the loose. The same two totems, those belong to those two dollies. So there's two dollies that could come at any moment. They could show up in the middle of the night and the talisman doesn't work on them. So I think that it was a great idea to bring them with you because for a fact you didn't kill them. They ran away. And I like how Donna said, and then they walked away because that
They
is
just
true.
walked away.
They
'Cause
came
that's
out,
literally what
they
did.
killed they killed Roger, and then we stabbed them, and then they walked away. It's like, yeah, they walked
Yeah.
away, Donna.
That's literally what happened.
Yeah, and I just want to echo the fact that there's a lot of great comments in the chat as to Henry. People are clocking Henry.
Yeah, he's
Like
suspicious.
Jerry Bartell reminds us that Henry told us himself verbatim, it was easier believing Victor was dead. He was like, this is hardcore, right, Jerry?
He did say this.
He
is
was
true.
like, dude, as he was drinking, he's like, this is hard. Like, parenting is hard. It was easier when I thought he was dead, which is like, oh. And Star God's channel, always putting all of these things that we say. We write a monologue about what it is that we feel, but always condensing it into a beautiful sentence. The way that Henry acted after he found out that Miranda got 8 was weak AF. Beautiful. Beautiful. I couldn't have said it better myself. I 100% agree. That is my opinion. Now let's see. Okay, Jeremy will be right back. Let's look at the comments. I expected Roger to say, why so serious, like the Joker, right? There was this scary way about the way that they did his mouth. It reminded me of the Joker, but I mean, Coraline. To me, it was just like typical Coraline. I think that it was very heavy on the Coraline because of the buttons in the eye. And I love this. Star God's channel. Yeah, they did that to Roger because he was talking trash about them. He's like, this is going to show you to not talk trash. Now, when we see the scene that is coming up we see that Donna is having a really hard time processing what they just went through. I was really surprised that she had such a difficult time because she seems really calm when she was explaining what happened at Cannibal Village. She was explaining it in a calm way. Like they came out, they attacked us, we stabbed the one with one of these things. They're not just totems, they're a weapon. And then they did this to Roger. And she unveils Roger, right? But she seems calm. She didn't seem like she was in super like distress. She seemed like she was processing that just fine. I also found it really hilarious how everybody who had to see Roger process the death and the fact that he has buttons just fine, other than Jade. Jade was really afraid, which I was surprised. But let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Oh my God, Golden Child. Golden Child says the wig buried Tilly because the writers forgot to put it in the script. It's the wig that's working overtime, kind of tying loose ends. Everything that doesn't make sense in From, the wig is going to bring together. Yes. Okay, so Deya, you're bringing up a wonderful point. When I saw this in the shed, it reminded me of one of the pictures that they gave us at the beginning of the season. Now, if you guys recall, I'll have Jeremy show it to you once he's back, but there is a picture that shows Sophia kneeling down and she says, let's have some fun or something like that, right? Or I don't remember if it's a speaking one in the video. Anyway, there is an image of Sophia kneeling down, looking at something. And that image of Sophia shows that she is smiling in that way that she likes to smile, right? It's time to play. She says it's time to play. What else could she be doing? Deya, I think you cracked the code. That's exactly what I thought when I saw this scene. I thought she's going to bring Roger back from the dead and she's going to have Roger terrorize the people in Colony House, which I thought this is going to be great. This is going to be great because guess what? We're going to get more Roger, double the Roger, double the horror. So I thought Jeremy's going to love this. Jeremy's going to love.
That was literally the first thing I thought as well. I love that. And that's the first thing that popped into my head. This shot right here, like, holy shit. That's the exact spot where they laid Roger's fucking body down. There's no way that's a coincidence. Yeah, I think she's going to be animating Roger's body. And I can't fucking wait to see undead NPC Roger. Not just NPC Roger, undead NPC Roger. Give me some of that action.
Right. I just thought about you when I was watching. I'm like, this is gonna be great for Jeremy because he's gonna see everybody hating on Roger. You're gonna be terrified. And now what she's saying makes more sense. For Roger?
I might even
to kill the people in Colony.
Zombie undead NPC Roger. I might even root for the guy now. Who knows?
You might like him better than when he was alive. Yeah, he might have more common sense, right?
Maybe undead Roger's better than alive Roger.
He might be. But now that we're putting this together, her line of dialogue makes so much sense. It's time to play. What is Roger now? He's a dolly. He's a dolly with button eyes and like the same sort of mouth and nose. That's why she says it's time to play. What do you do with dollies? You play with them. So she's definitely going to bring Roger back to life. And I'm really excited to see this next chapter for Roger because we kind of have seen a lot. We have seen him break into Tian Cheng's house, steal from her. We have seen him at Cannibal Village, right? Pull the rope. And now we're getting to see this other side of him. And he's definitely going to be what they're burning. They're not going to want to show people his face.
That's what they're burning. Yeah. 100%.
Exactly. And it makes sense, right? You don't want people to see his face, do you? And if they're lucky enough that people don't see him walking around with his eyes like a dolly, then yeah, I would grab him and burn him. Stab him, grab him, burn him.
I think we finally cracked the code in terms of what they're going to be burning here. It just makes sense. We see Sophia animate this freaking NPC undead Roger back to life. They have the totems in which they could probably kill him, so they probably take him out with one of the totems. And yeah, roger that, Star God's channel. Roger that indeed. It's going to be sayonara Roger.
Yeah. And I like what the chat is saying. So, Jeremy, well, you were gone. We have discovered a lot of the things that are not making sense and from. I believe that we know, or the chat knows, what's going on. And they're saying that it was the wig. The wig story walked and barricaded the door under Colony House. Golden Child says the wig put the talismans in the tree.
The wig, but the wig, we're going to
The
find
wig
out.
wrote the Chromonocle.
The wig is what brought the deal to the parents in the first place. It was the wig that brought this deal to the fucking parents. The wig wanted to sacrifice these kids. This all goes back to the fucking wig.
God. That's why Fatima doesn't remember, because it was the wig that made the bargain.
Yeah, and Fatima did say it was something terrifying, something so terrifying that made this deal. That sounds a lot like the wig. That does sound a lot like the fucking wig. Yeah, the wig will turn red in the finale. It was the symbol the whole time. Exactly.
I'm loving this wig thing. Like, I'm loving the wig needs to become its own character, Jeremy. You need to give us a wig emoji, something.
We gotta get a wig emoji. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. We'll get a wig emoji for sure.
You know what? For the next live stream, we need to get wigs. We need to get little wigs like her, and both of us need to wear the wig. The power of the wig.
Yeah.
Let's have a wig live stream. I will send one to your house.
Okay.
So that you have no excuses to not wear
I'll
it.
wear it. I'll wear it. No problem.
The wig was the original entity.
Yeah, the wig was the original entity. I mean, the wig was the one who brought this deal to the parents in the first place.
Fatima will borrow the wig for the golem.
Yeah, maybe it's gonna go right on the fucking golem. Or the wig was the Man in Yellow's original form. That's his true form. The wig.
The wig. The golem needs a makeover. It does, right? It's a little lopsided. She's very artistic.
Golem, yeah,
but I gotta say, I was a little disappointed. I was like, girl, you're very artistic. Why is he all flopped?
A little disappointed. I was a lot disappointed in the final design of the golem. Although I gotta say, it does look scary. It looks fucking scary. It looks a little wonky, but it does look kind of scary. Let's get a look at this sucker. Hold on. They only show her for a few seconds.
There it is. Oh my god. The little feet. Look at the little feet.
Here we go. Here's the golem. I mean, now I have to imagine it's not very easy to carve a giant golem. It's just not very easy. I mean, he doesn't have arms for one. Poor guy's not going to be able to defend you very much. But yeah, you got the a little bit of a crooked neck, a little bit of a crooked nose, a little bit of a crooked mouth. It's kind of scary looking. Like if this thing was coming at me in a dark alley, I'd be fucking shit faced.
The golem looks like Frosty.
It does. It looks like Frosty the Snowman in April after he's half melted.
His face is all lopsided. This is
he looks like he was once a plastic action figure that was put in the microwave.
Oh my god. Why the thing is, like, he's almost like straight, but then he's lopsided. And I love that she's there talking to her husband. She's like, it is because when you believe in magic and all of this stuff, it could give you courage, right? And she starts naming like iconic golems. And she's like, it could make you feel like you have courage and strong. Dude, it's gonna make you feel that this guy, he's already falling. He's already lost the battle. And he hasn't even started to champion you against anybody, and he's already falling apart. And I was just thinking, like, dude, she's an artist, she's very artistic. What the hell happened here? Because that golem looks all messed up. He looks terrifying. He looks terrifying.
Stuffy D's got it right. This Gollum looks like it belongs on Easter Island. Like you see the carvings on Easter Island, those big giant head carvings, they look just like this. From got some jokes. Yeah. It's just like, what the fuck did I just walk into? Yeah, a wig could definitely fix it.
Jeremy, you need to put a wig on this Gollum. I know you could do it. I know you have the Photoshop
There
skills.
will be an emoji made from this guy. You best believe. And if I can slap a wig on that emoji before making it, I will do so. Absolutely.
That was the big bad. That was the entity that created the bargain. Is this guy with the wig on? But I mean, he's he's short. He's a short guy. That's one of the first things that I thought about. Well, as women, we like tall men. I like tall men. But one of the first things that I noticed is like he's a little guy. He's not tall at all. He's a very little guy. I thought the golems were supposed to be ginormous.
Yeah, it's kind of a rock'em sock'em bot, yet the arms are attached. Like the arms are stuck to the body and they can't move. Like he's got no arms. But yes, similar to rock'em sock'em.
Yeah, look at his face. His face is all messed up. It's just
Victor is also very artistic. Yeah, did she get the blueprint for this thing from Victor? Did Victor draw the outline for this thing and she followed one of his blueprints, maybe? I don't know.
Dea wins it. Dea wins it. I love Dea here in the chat. It's your homegirl from your state. Trudy would have given the right? Because I'm talking about we have standards, height standards. Trudy wouldn't have, right? That girl strikes me as, you know what? She probably would have rocked that.
Oh, come on, this chat. You guys.
Why are we roasting the poor Gollum?
I know we're roasting this poor Golem. Like, I feel bad for it now. Like, what are we doing? But no, it's all in good fun, of course. All just in good fun. But I guess now the question remains: like, is this thing gonna fucking come to life? Like, is this thing actually gonna kind of come to life now? Like, fuck. The wig is reincarnated each cycle. Where else you gonna have fun like this talking from, right, guys? Come on.
No, the wig is reincarnated.
Oh, the wig is reincarnated. I fucking love it. Oh man,
golden child, you're hilarious. I'm telling you.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Right? It makes sense. It fits. It fits. She's been up there for days, and then what she comes up with, go sit in the corner, Fatima.
Oh, my stomach hurts. You guys are so funny. And that's true, right? She's been running this operation of bring me sand. I need more sand. Right?
Days and days on end, hand carving this thing. Making the perfect sculpture of like a Greek god body she could have made. But now we got this fucking melted action figure Golem. Oh, I love it. I fucking love that. I love the design of this thing. I know we're cracking jokes on it, but it's all just in good fun. But I love the fucking design.
Yeah,
of this
we
thing.
love them. It's all, if we roast you, it's because we love you. Like that wig, never change it. If they change it at this point, I would like, would have so much grief about it. Do not ever touch it.
The wig's a character in and of itself right now. If you got rid of the wig, it would feel like they're recasting it. Like you can't recast the wig.
You cannot recast the wig, dude.
Recast that wig.
But I like your question. Is it gonna come to life?
Yeah.
You know what? He's a little guy. Even if he does come to life, that's not that big of a deal. And he's already lopsided. He doesn't seem like he could, attack people or do much damage. Fatima's taller than it. Even if he comes to life, I'm not scared for them. I think they'll be okay.
I don't know if Fatima's taller than it or if that's just a perspective issue here that we're seeing now. That if Fatima was right up next to it, I think it is a little bit bigger than Fatima, just based on that other picture that we saw. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I think this could just be a perspective issue here, where it looks a little bit shorter than it actually is, maybe. Because we do have this shot here of how tall the thing is most likely going to be. Here we go. So I think it's just the angle of the photograph makes it look like it's super short from where they're standing, from where they're shooting, but it should be around this big.
Okay.
So not
Okay,
giant,
that's better.
certainly not giant like, I mean, kind of big, but definitely not like a giant like golems are
Yeah.
described.
Yeah, I really like that we have everything. Okay, this channel
I
is all
like
about
how
different
it's,
ideas and different opinions.
and I like how it's imperfect. I kind of like how that, I mean, in hindsight, I'm glad that it's not like this perfectly sculpted kind of individual. I like that it's kind of Frankenstein's monster-esque.
Yeah, you like that.
I do.
I mean, I do feel with Star, right? She's been up there. She's been working on this. She's very artistic. So
Yeah.
I was just expecting a little bit more from the Golem.
Uh-huh.
It's fine, but this is what I love about this channel. We have people roasting the Golem, and we have David who's standing up for that Golem, and he's saying, no, actually, he looks just like what a Golem should look like. And I
It does.
love that. We have all different opinions. He's standing up, he's taking a
Yeah.
stand. Enough is enough. This Golem looks accurate. And I love
Mhm.
that.
I like it. I mean, if you're looking back at some of the earliest paintings and some of the earliest drawings of the early Hebrew versions of the golems, which this myth originated, yeah, you'll see a lot of awkward and funky kind of carvings that aren't really perfectly, perpendicular. The proportions aren't perfect. So yeah, you have a good point, David, that this is more realistic, definitely more realistic at the very least, for sure.
And I
But
like that you're standing next to the Golem. I like that you're standing up for him. Then Stuffy takes it back and says the Golem has some wabi sabi, definitely some wabi sabi. But Justin, I love Justin. The Golem literally has resting bitch face. It does. Like, why is it already scary, Fatima? I thought it was supposed to empower you. Why is he terrifying?
yeah,
Like, look at that face.
if the golem comes to life, its first words will be, "Please kill me." Oh man, that's fucked up. That is fucked up, Robert.
Please.
That is fucked. Oh
She didn't
man,
give
but
me
yeah,
hands. But why didn't
but
she give it hands though? I feel like she still has some work to do before it comes to life. Please fix that, Fatima. Give him a
yeah,
couple of hands.
mm. Yeah. He needs some arms. He needs some arms that can actually be moved and a little detached from his body, only attached to the shoulder. That's all you need for arms. But yeah, again, like David brought up in the chat, it is kind of a perfect golem. I know we like having some fun and cracking jokes on it, which is nothing wrong with that. We're all doing it in good fun. It's funny. Well, at the end of the day, it is funny. But I do like that it's not a perfect kind of sculpt. I'm glad that they went with more of an imperfect kind of design, and it just gives it a little bit more of that realistic feel. But yeah, again, the fucking chat, you guys crack me the fuck up. You guys crack me the fuck up.
But that's the beauty of it, different opinions.
Wonky.
The Golem could feel comfortable with us because there's people on his side too. But yeah, I think in all seriousness,
Yeah.
will this Golem
Will it
protect
come
them
to life? Yeah.
from Coraline Roger? Will this Golem, I mean, anything is possible. Once again, I feel like Boyd is speaking for a lot of us when we say, normally I would have said no. But now
Yes.
that those things came out of the lake, yeah,
Totally.
this Golem could totally protect them from Coraline Roger. And it
Totally.
probably will. It probably will. But you know what's funny to me is this is on the second or third floor. Coraline Roger is all the way in the shed. So that means that Gollum would have to make his way down in order to protect them at all. So he needs to move. It's not like he could just, they could push him onto Roger. He's gonna have to move downstairs.
Yeah, and at this point, it's just as David says, it's an empty vessel just waiting to be filled. And I guess that will be an interesting part of what is going to happen next. did Fatima's father tell her the entire story in terms of what one has to do to animate one of these golems? Like, does she actually know the ritual that she needs to conduct to bring this to life, in terms of finding a divine word from the Hebrew Bible and inscribing it on its forehead, or inscribing it on a piece of paper and placing it inside its mouth? That is said to activate the golem. But as Sunflower says as well, you were talking about Fatima losing control of the golem. What if Sophia makes him evil? And I think that's an interesting possibility as well, because again, when you look at the lore of the golems, they are very well known for breaking free from their creator's control. And maybe this could be a reason as to why it breaks free from its creator's control. Maybe Sophia does corrupt the golem. That's an interesting idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it, Sunflower. Potentially, looking at this picture, we see that Ellis is trying to embrace the golem, but he's not quite understanding it. He even says,
Yeah.
my wife is building a giant mud golem, and somehow I think that's exactly what she needs right now.
Yeah.
So he's saying, I don't quite understand it, but it's important to her. I know that we're all thinking that Coraline Roger will be the one that comes to life because we saw him in the shed. However,
Yeah.
Ellis could say, babe, can we move the golem to the shed? Because I kind of want to sleep in the room without having the golem here. Can I'm not saying get rid of the golem, babe. I'm just saying, can I just move him and you visit him in the shed so that I could sleep here without this thing freaking me out? And maybe they move the golem to the shed, and that's what Sophia animates. That's the way that I see it working, because other than that, how would Sophia get into that room?
Yeah, I don't know. How would she get in there? I mean, I think she could probably sneak in there, sneak into Colony House somewhere, maybe. But yeah, no, that's a good question. How would she get close to it? Yeah, I think this is going to be fun to see how this is going to play out. Again, this is fucking chat. Fucking chat.
Fatima will elicit the help of the wig
to bring it to life.
Golden Child. The golem likes to watch. I love how you guys are shipping the golem with Trudy. Trudy's like, what the hell did I do? I've been gone for a while, and all of a sudden you're shipping. Something about Trudy tells you that the golem is her type. I like it.
Golem will be sleeping in the middle of Ellis and Fatima. Oh God, Jesus, you guys are crazy. We see the pictures, which I think is the golem, the black shape. It has the red eye. I mean, and I guess that is the question, right? We saw that drawing of Victor's that does very much look very similar to this. Again, we were wondering what the final kind of design of the golem was going to look like, and would it look kind of similar to that one drawing that we do have of Victor's? The drawing that does very much look like a golem. And I'm going to pull that up. We're going to take a look. See what we can see. See what we can see. Here we go. Now, okay. All right. Now here is the golem. We see the golem on screen. And now let's see the drawing. Here is the drawing of Victor's. Similar shapes. I mean, you could definitely at least, I think it would be at least passable that this could be a representation of one. Here we see it. Here we see it right here. The potential golem. Maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think, Pam? Is this a match, or is this two? Are they two different?
Yeah. Well, I showed you that Instagram post where it's a video instead of a still. And in the video, the golem's eyes go from nothing to glowing red eyes. And then it opens its mouth and the picture goes black. So in that video, I think it's showing or depicting him coming to life with the glowing red eyes and then opening its mouth. I mean, it's prominent. it uses a lot of, they have to use media to animate the picture, and they have to be specific about what they want the picture to do. So somehow I think they did it for a reason, because that golem is going to be important. It's going to come to life, and the glowing red eyes at some point are going to be part of the storyline. And how else would it have glowing red eyes unless it's
Mhm.
coming to life?
Yeah. No, I like that. I think that makes perfect sense. And when you see I don't have the drawing on hand of the glowing red eyes, but when you do see that one, it does kind of bring it into focus a little bit more, and it looks like it makes a little bit more sense that this very well could be the golem. Absolutely. So yeah, I think it could be. This could be a drawing depiction of our good old fashioned golem. But first, let me catch up with you guys here in the chat. We have a few super chats here to get to. We got Scarecrow Dieter, who's been a member for 4 months. Thank you so much, Scarecrow Dieter, for becoming a member, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Yes, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very much appreciate that. Very much appreciate that. And we also have Sunflower for $5. Thank you so much, Sunflower. Very, very much appreciate it. In this timeline, who is the man Victor said that jumped, Boyd or Jade? Also, can we say Boyd lifting Jade up like a puppet? Yeah, I mean, Boyd did kind of grab Jade up by the scruff of his shirt and, tell him what's up. Tell him to shut up, more like it. Here is it. Here we go. Here's that. Good old Boyd grabbing up Jade. Yes, indeed. But yeah, no, I think this is a very interesting question as well. Exactly who was the man that jumped off of the roof of Colony House? I have a hard time wondering if it was a previous Jade. And I mean, unless it was Christopher. Christopher is really the only one it could be. So if it was a previous Jade, it would have been Christopher. But I don't know. I feel like since he said it was a man and didn't say Christopher jumped off the roof, it makes me wonder if it was maybe just a random resident in town. But what about you guys? What do you guys think in the chat when you heard Victor say that, and you as well, PM, when you heard Victor talk about this man that jumped off the roof? Did you get a sense that this was a character that was important, or just a poor, unfortunate soul that couldn't handle this place? We did hear Victor say that this was a person that was trying to solve things, that was trying to find answers, and they couldn't. So that does make it a little more interesting.
Yeah, well, we did talk a little bit about this previously. I believe that it was the previous Victor, because what he said is that this man was trying to fix things, but
Yeah,
instead he made things worse. So he
Yes.
threw himself off the roof, and he happens to be standing there. So he's literally showing us, I am in his shoes.
I like
It is
it.
me.
Yes.
It was the previous version of
Previous me.
the previous version of me. So the previous little boy that was left in that town, that grew up to be a man who was trying to fix things but made things worse, couldn't go through with it. So he
Okay.
went ahead and he attempted suicide, and he didn't die immediately. Now he's standing there. I don't think it's a coincidence, because he could have told the story anywhere. Why is he standing there,
Why
right?
stand
Why
there?
go
No,
up there?
I like the
Um,
idea of him standing literally in the previous Victor's shoes, like you mentioned. I like that description of it, and I feel like that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, I didn't believe that the town kept children. I thought that Victor was very special. But with this new information, I do believe that it is possible that the town keeps a child that is not harmed, goes untouched, and that child's fate is to be traumatized by everything that the child is seeing. Now, I would like to add this to that theory.
Mhm.
I've talked previously about Victor being the historian, right? What he's writing, and we
Yeah.
talked about history. History is written by the people that survive. It is
Mhm.
not the people who died who tell you what happens, but the one that survives is the one that gets to tell the story the way that they want it.
Yeah.
And I think we might be onto something. He might literally be the town's historian, and the
Yeah.
town keeps a child a
Yeah.
child that has to bear witness to everything and document it
Yeah.
for the people that are to come. And that is their fate, to bear witness to things, to not be able to do anything about it, to document it, to document the history of the town since the beginning to the end. And
Mhm.
maybe a lot of the depictions that we see in the caves are the previous historians. We see that, like you mentioned, Victor and Ethan drawing side by side. It's
Very
showing
much
a beautiful parallel of he's taking over, and he's told them. He said,
Mhm.
we only draw pictures of
He's the
people that
memory.
have died,
He's the memory
Mhm.
of Fromville, the living
Yeah.
memory.
people that have died. The pictures remember. So he's kind of given him information as to how to do his job. If Ethan is to be the next Victor, which is something that a lot of you have been saying. A lot of
A
you
lot
have
of
been saying
people
for a
have.
long time that you thought that Ethan might be the next Victor. And I think that this gives you more evidence.
Mhm.
The town keeps a historian. He's going to be the next one, unfortunately.
The town needs a living memory of sorts, one person that is going to keep the history of the town passing down from generation to generation. And yeah, maybe this person that jumped off the roof before Victor was the previous Victor. I have the two theories that I like the most on who this person was are that one. I like the Victor one, that it was the previous Victor one. But I also like the other one the chat was bringing up earlier as well, in terms of it potentially being the previous Boyd. That also kind of describes Boyd to a certain degree, that Boyd is also trying to fix things and might end up just making things worse. And Boyd was also up on that roof. So I like that theory too. I think that's also an interesting theory. I think I like the Victor one. I think the Victor one is maybe a little more fitting just for me personally. But I like the Boyd angle as well, because it, to a certain extent it does kind of parallel Boyd's trajectory in a little bit as well. So I like that. I like the idea of this person that jumped before Victor either being the previous Victor or maybe the previous Boyd type character. I like those two
Well,
theories.
to the person in the chat who has that theory about Boyd, I would like to add more evidence to your theory, because I think you're onto something. On that roof was Victor. So it could be Victor, but on that roof was Boyd too.
Boyd too, yeah.
Boyd was on that roof. And it's almost, if it is the previous Boyd, he was telling him, this is your future. This is what could happen to you. Right?
Mhm.
Boyd was on that roof. Now it makes me think of something that Boyd
It's been a
said
warning,
previously.
A warning from Victor to
So,
Boyd.
Previously, we had a moment where Boyd was losing faith. He was at the church and he was in a really bad place. He felt like he wasn't doing enough for the town. This is in the previous season, I believe season 3. Season
Mhm.
2. It was season 2. He's
Okay.
mad at God. He's losing faith. And he said, why did you make me believe that I could get people home, that I could save people when I'm just I'm going to say it verbatim like he said it, okay? This is the show we're watching. Not my words, his words. When I'm just a dumb motherfucker who keeps getting people killed. I mean, iconic line of his, right? But
Such
he
a good
says that. Why did you tell me that made me believe that I could save them when I'm just XYZ that gets people killed? And that is literally what Victor said. Victor said this was somebody that was trying to fix things,
Trying to
but all
fix
he
things.
did was making things worse.
Yes.
Boyd has said that about himself. He said
Mhm.
that verbatim. So I think that's more evidence to your theory, whoever in the chat came up with that.
Mhm. Yeah, I like both of those. I like the again. I feel like it fits both of these character arcs and these character types pretty well, in terms of it being a previous Victor or being a previous Boyd. So I like both of those. Again, the Boyd one is fun too. Yeah, awesome stuff, guys. Awesome.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's the Wig's words, not mine. The Wig said.
It's the wig that should
And
not. Be
I think Jeremy would be very I don't know, or Jeremy would disagree with this statement. It doesn't sound like I curse a lot, she says. I think Jeremy would disagree, but
No,
yeah.
no, I don't think you curse too much. No more than I do, anyway. No more than I do. But yeah, no, I think I like both of those. I definitely like both of those. I really wish we could have at least one episode that shows us the day of 1978 so we could see the characters from then. And that is something that I am really hoping to get at some point. It's one thing to get little bits of information from that time period, whether it's from, exposition or a quick little flashback, but we really need to like travel back there proper style. And that means, yeah, showing us the whole day, the events that transpired in the entire day that the sacrifice took place, from the morning, middle of the day to the sacrifice actually happening. That is something we need to see. It's at least I'm really hoping it's something we do see and we don't just hear about. Because I feel like we've gotten a lot of information up until this point, but like we've discussed in the past, a lot of this information is coming via exposition and we're being told it. We're not actually seeing it. So yeah, I do hope at some point we have an episode or at least a good portion of an episode where we are traveling back to that 1978 timeline and actually seeing the events that took place that night. Because that night is still a massive question. We still have no idea what happened the night of the massacre. So yeah, I really do hope that we are going to travel back there at one point. Same thing with the original Onkui sacrifice. We've heard a lot about how, what happened and what was going on there, what the parents did, but we haven't actually got a chance to really see it for ourselves. So I do hope that we get to travel to both of these times at some point.
Yeah, Dea, I think I like your comment, and I think that you're going to be pleasantly surprised because they have shown it to us for a reason, right? In a storyline, you do not introduce something unless you're going to make it part of the story, make it vital. We have seen it multiple times. This
Yeah.
specific cycle, other than the rest, we have seen multiple times. What makes it special, right? Because they have reincarnated and failed a billion times, but we have only seen how the 78 cycle ends. So that means there's something special, something that we need to see from it. And I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. They're definitely going to go back to it. Now, I wonder, did they film that flashback previously? Because the actor that plays Victor, he's also as big as Boy and White. I mean,
Yeah.
these kids have grown up. It's been years. So he
Yeah.
doesn't look like he did when we met Victor. Now
Mhm.
it's 1978, so he can give us the same excuse of, hey, everything is changing, so I'm changing. Like, that's not gonna work with you, buddy. It works with Boy
Yeah.
and White because he's some magical entity, but it's not gonna work with
Yeah.
Victor. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering, did they film that already? Or are we gonna also have to accept that Victor suddenly looks like totally different and
Mhm.
is super tall and maybe, I mean, I don't know. If it's gonna be that night, it makes me think they already have it planned.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, man. I'm sorry. Had a gummy stuck in my throat there for a second. Sorry. Ugh. Now I'm thinking it's really Boyd. Maybe. Get your still we can get your wig on. Maybe. Still getting our wigs on, I see. Yes. Season 5 should be 9 episodes, one per previous cycle, then the last to end the loop forever. Interesting. Yeah, I kept seeing some people saying that they're hearing rumors about the final season being 13 episodes, but I haven't seen anything that has corroborated that, or at least nothing official anyway. I imagine the final season will probably follow the same format that they followed up until this point, and it'll be another 10 episodes. Although, I mean, hell, I would love to get 13. Don't get me wrong. Like, that would be great. If we do get 13, fuck yeah. 3 extra weeks, 3 extra episodes of From, I'll take it. But I guess I'm not expecting it. The Donna actress must have been so happy when they brought her back to life. Yeah, this was very interesting, the whole Donna thing. And we'll get closer to that soon here. Actually, we're actually pretty close to it. We had the golem, we had the Ethan scene, now we have the bar scene. Okay, first we got to get through the bar scene. Now, we talked a little bit about this already, but again, Henry really spiraling here, just kind of getting worse and worse, and taking all of his problems out at the bottom of a bottle, which is never a good choice. But ultimately, it kind of culminates in the two of them getting drunk together, and the man in yellow, or Sophia, I should say, putting a drop of her blood inside Henry's cup before Henry drinks it. Now, I think this is going to be a very interesting situation to see where this all pans out. Where exactly is this going to go? What is this blood going to do to Henry? What kind of reaction is he going to have? Again, I get the feeling it's not going to kill him. Like if all Sophia wanted to do was kill Henry, there's numerous other ways I imagine she could do it. She could probably just give him a heart attack like she did with the preacher simply by touching him. So I get the feeling it's not going to kill Henry. But what is it going to do to him? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. When you saw this scene, when you saw Sophia put a drop of her blood in the cup, what do you think is going to happen to Henry? Again, the worms were the first thing that came to mind for me. Is this potentially the origin of the worms? Did the worms actually come from the man in yellow's blood? And if that is the case, did the man in yellow put Martin in that dungeon, or was the man in yellow pretending to be Martin that whole time? Not sure, but I guess I wouldn't be too shocked if we see that this could potentially be the origin for the worms. But let me know what you guys think. What exactly is happening here? What is going to happen to Henry? And is he going to survive it? Again, I get the feeling this bodes very bad news for Henry. And I don't know if he's going to survive this. Whatever it is, I'm not sure he's going to survive it. But we'll see. We shall see. Yeah, Henry was wigging out. Henry was definitely wigging out a bit, for sure. That he certainly was. Yeah, what a bloody mess. Bit of a bloody mess. Our pal Henry. He was, for sure. I'm surprised she wasn't actually drinking with him. I mean, you start to wonder if the man in yellow or Sophia can even get drunk. Like, we have no idea what this being is, what this entity is. If they were human at some point, or if they were always this otherworldly creature. Like, we have no idea what the man in yellow really is. So yeah, I wonder if he can even, drink at all, or even get drunk. Maybe this man in yellow is something totally different, doesn't have the same human metabolism that we do. He is a shapeshifter, after all. Henry is pregnant just like Fatima, in my opinion. Oh, well, that'll certainly be a sight. That will certainly be a sight if Henry gave birth to a monster similar to how Fatima did. That would be fucking nuts. Absolutely fucking nuts. We have Sunflower again for another 5. Thank you so much, Sunflower, for the 5. Very, very much appreciate you. I think Sophia set up Henry to cause the massacre. Do you think the man in yellow set Abby, since she was there the same thing, a dream? Since she said the same thing is a dream, we need to wake up. Sophia's words. I mean, you do start to wonder that a lot of these people that have lost it here in the town, is it just this place, just a byproduct of being in this place? Or is it the byproduct of somebody actually messing with their minds? I guess is the real question. One that we don't really have a definitive answer to. But yeah, I could totally see it being Sophia. I could totally see a lot of this maybe coming from Sophia. Maybe she was behind Abby kind of losing it like that. Could totally see that being the case. Yeah, it's a very interesting question. Very interesting question. But yeah, we shall see. We shall see, because we know Abby very much got to the conclusion where she was dead convinced that this was all just one giant dream. And she was willing to shoot every single person in town in order to test that theory. So yeah, could the man in yellow's influence have been behind, influencing Abby into that choice? Maybe. I think it's a possibility. What about you though, PM? Do you think there's a slight possibility that the man in yellow could have been behind what Abby did? Like, was Abby's outburst, was her believing this was all a dream and her willing to shoot everybody in town to test that theory, could the man in yellow have pushed her into that direction a little bit?
Um, I like it, Sunflower, and I like it because we're using what the man in yellow tells Henry. Why tell Henry, do you ever think that maybe this is all a dream? If he's putting it into Henry's head, I wouldn't put it past the entity in yellow to put it into some other person's head.
Yeah.
Now, we know that it's not going to be a dream because the
No.
creators have said, no, this is happening. This is not a dream. It's not,
No.
a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the creatures are called nightmare creatures. So a lot of us were thinking, well, is it just a nightmare? But they
Mhm.
said, no, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I thought was really interesting, Sunflower. And maybe you could tell me what you think about it in the chat. Yes, I think that the man in yellow potentially said that to Abby because he has used Abby repeatedly to
Yeah.
mess with Boyd.
Yeah.
Almost like he can't touch Boyd directly, but he could
Yes.
influence the people around him.
Yes.
Now, wait, what? I'm blanking out. I had something and it was really good. And now I'm forgetting. It's really late. I'm so sorry, you guys.
No, it's okay. It's totally good. It is getting late, and we will shut her down here in a minute.
I'll
But yeah,
remember.
but as far
Yes.
oh, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I
No,
don't want to
please.
interrupt you. Sorry.
No,
But I
please,
just
please.
remembered. So this is I like to look at the episode and look at evidence for anybody's theories. Like if I see something, even if I don't like the idea or the theory, if I see something that fits your stuff, I'm just gonna give you the evidence for your theory. And there's a lot of people that have been saying that perhaps this is hell. This is a place of punishment. This
Yeah.
is a cycle of hell or a cycle between heaven and becoming the person that you're supposed to be and life. This is a place in between, right? And so, for those of you that believe this, I think that you have a little bit of evidence. Henry mentions to the entity in yellow, I hope that he's in hell. I hope that, whoever did it, I hope they're in hell. And you could see Sophia get bothered by that. And I just thought that's really interesting. You are some ancient entity. Why did it bother you that he said, I hope that that person is in hell? It made like this, like, look at him. And so, if you believe that this is a place of punishment, that the entity in yellow is Satan, I think that that potentially gives you more evidence because it reacted in a way where it was like, I am, or I'm bothered by that, or that hurts me. And what would hurt Lucifer but to remind him of losing heaven, right? That is
Mhm.
what would hurt Lucifer. Not the fact that he's in hell, but the reminder that you've lost on heaven. And she seemed bothered by that. I thought it was interesting.
Oh, very interesting. That is very interesting indeed. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be. Well, I really want them to start peeling back these layers. Again, the undercover thing, I get where they're going for it, but I am really hoping we're going to get to the point where this is going to get revealed pretty soon, and we're going to learn, the truth. What exactly is Sophia? What is really going on behind that curtain, really? But no, that's an interesting way to look at it, I think. And yeah, you could very well be onto something there. Very well be onto something there. Yeah, Henry looked hypnotized afterwards. Maybe. Again, we still don't really know the full extent of the Man in Yellow or Sophia's capabilities, what they're really, really capable of. But yeah, I don't know. In terms of this place being, some kind of hell, I mean, maybe. I mean, they did say it's not purgatory, but that's not to say it's not some other kind of in-between phase between life and death. That's also a possibility. Yeah, I don't know. I think, the more this goes on, the more I want to get a proper origin story for the Man in Yellow to find out just where exactly did this character really come from. And I think that will give us, a lot of answers that we have been searching for a long time with this weird, strange character that we've been given. I think the blood will give him the memories of the Man in Yellow killing Miranda. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so you think Sophia's blood will give him some memories? I mean, I guess we do have a precedent for memories being contained in the blood on the show already. with the
Mhm.
version of Jade that Jade keeps seeing all over the place, wanting to hand him this skull filled with human blood, wanting him to drink it, telling him on Kui, remember, remember. So clearly, drinking that blood was a key factor in Jade remembering some of the things that he went on to remember later on in that episode. So yeah, could we see something similar here? Could we see Henry tap into some kind of memory of the man in yellow, maybe killing Miranda through the blood? That would be fucking tragic for Henry. I imagine that's something he's not going to survive if he saw that. Like if he had a vision of that, if he had to experience what Miranda experienced, that will probably break him. He's already close to being broke.
Mhm. I like a golden child. I like it, and
Yeah.
you and I think alike. I feel like a lot of the times we are in sync. I was disappointed a little bit when it came to the blood because after he consumes it, he just goes, "That one had a little bit of a kick," and it's like, "Come on, she didn't add it for a kick." Like, you know, that one, and he's like, like he could taste it.
He
But
did though. Like that was literally his line. Oh, that one had
yeah,
a bit of a
that one had
kick.
a little bit of kick, and he still drank it. He's like, I'm not gonna waste this.
Fuck.
But the thing I thought would happen, Golden Child, I thought when he drinks it, he's gonna see, he's gonna visualize what happened to his daughter because she
To
asked him.
Eloise?
Remember, to Eloise, yes.
Ooh,
And I
okay.
thought this is why they haven't shown us or given us concrete evidence of what happened to Eloise. We know that there is something that Henry is avoiding. Victor has
Yep.
told us he's not as strong as my mother, right?
Mhm.
They talk about the mom all the time. That's not something that he avoids. But what
No.
is the topic that he avoids? His daughter. And you know what Sophia likes to do? She likes to mess with you and ask you about the things that are going to hurt you. For example, she asked about his family. And he said, "Oh, yeah, this man hurt my family."
Mhm.
But he will not talk about his daughter. So I thought he's going to drink that blood and he's going to be Men in Yellow. So instead of like being the person that got eaten, he's gonna be eating his own daughter and tearing her apart, like the Men in Yellow. And I thought that is going to be like amazing if that is how we find out that Eloise died. But then
Mhm.
nothing happened. He just said that one had a little bit of kick, and nothing. He drank it. It was fine. He was totally fine. But
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I thought maybe he's going to make him live what it's like to eat his own child's liver.
Oof.
To
My
consume
God.
Eloise, he's going to find out what happened to that daughter because that is what he fears. He fears that topic. He fears it. And that is what she does to you. That's why when she met with Sarah, she asked about, "Do you have any family here?" It's like, we know what you're asking. You're
I know,
asking if she
do
killed
I?
her brother. So, you know, we know
Mhm.
we know what you're after, okay,
We know
girl?
what you're after. Fuck you. No, that's super dark. Super dark. Like if we were to get like that kind of reveal, oh my God. Yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, it's pretty brilliant. Yeah, it is pretty brilliant. It's brilliantly twisted, if nothing else.
Oh,
It is
damn.
good.
Damn.
It is good.
Jeremy's calling me twisted. No,
No, I
but
said brilliantly twisted. The idea is brilliantly twisted. I like it. I think it's
you're
great.
twisted too, sir. But
Of course.
listen, I have a feeling if we start to notice a pattern,
Yeah.
the Men in Yellow will push what you avoid. And
Uh-huh.
David here in the chat, David has long been talking about how one of David's theories is that this is all about self-reflection, introspection,
Mhm.
coming
Yeah.
into the darkness and the light within you. So From almost pushes you to be uncomfortable, to talk about the things that you don't want to talk about so that you could either move on from them and get through them or succumb to them.
Yeah.
And we know that Henry is just not that strong. He would probably have a heart attack and he probably would die.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about the Bible, right? When we think about the way that she prays and she can tell you about religion, I think, like I've seen in the chat, a lot of people tell you, well, maybe it's, she's not that bad and she can't be Lucifer because she prays a lot. But in my opinion, some people are religious, some people are not. There is nobody that would be able to tell you or recite the word of God better than one, God himself, and then two, Lucifer or his own child.
Mhm.
Lucifer was God's right hand. He was God's most beloved. So does he know about every passage, about everything that God did, about his intention? He probably knows it very well, and he probably could recite it to you. Just because she's talking religion, to me, it's like that doesn't mean anything. Just because you wear the cross, that doesn't mean that you are good or that you are not Satan. You could be Satan. And she
Mhm.
seems so bothered. She was like so bothered by being told, I hope that whoever did that is in hell. It's like, you're ancient. Why does that offend you? I'm sure you've heard worst. Jeremy has died.
Oh, I'm
Hello,
sorry. I thought I was
Jeremy.
on mute. I'm back. I'm sorry. I thought I was on. Yeah, fucking Henry. Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting to see where this goes. I don't think Henry is going to be long for this season. Personally, I think Henry is his number is coming up, most likely. Um, and I don't know. I don't know. I think someone in the chat earlier was saying that they think that this blood is going to be a way for Sophia to control Henry, like actually control his actions, his movements. And that's an interesting possibility as well. I mean, again, we have no idea what this blood is going to do. But I like the worm theory the best myself personally. I think could be a very interesting way to kind of tie everything back to the worms and the origin of the worms if we find out that they came from the man in yellow's blood. But if that is the case, why exactly would Sophia be giving Henry worms? What is she hoping to accomplish by this? Why Henry of all people? I don't. The whole scene just strikes me as weird. The whole scene just strikes me as incredibly strange. Why Henry? Why tap his drink? I don't know. It's
I
very
can think of something. And I think that's a really good question. On reflection, why Henry of all people? Because it has to be Henry. What did we just say about Victor? We saw tremendous growth with Victor. When Henry is away, he went from being like, damn, I shouldn't have said anything to my dad. I shouldn't have done that. This hurts people. To all of a sudden saying, I could try. Being super brave, super courageous, and saying, I could try to remember something, and working with Boyd. Boyd said, would you go down there with us and show us the man in yellow's car? So that's huge growth for Victor. That would be what the man in yellow would need to do right now. He needs to affect Victor somehow to scare him in a way where he's not going to talk. And what a better way to scare him than if he can control Henry. If he starts controlling Henry and getting Henry to put things into Victor's head of don't cooperate, don't talk to Boyd, you are the problem, look how you affected me, right? Making him feel guilty for giving him information, then Victor will not cooperate. But I don't think it's a coincidence that all of a sudden Victor decides to cooperate for the first time, and
just
she
as
is
this
messing with
happens.
Henry.
Okay. I mean, Victor has always been notoriously mum on the information that he knows. He is opening up a little bit more now. Yeah, I mean, I could see that maybe. Yeah, if something bad were to happen to Henry, could this kind of make Victor withdraw again, kind of go back into a shell, go back inside of himself and realize, man, I was right to believe I shouldn't say anything. I was right. Anytime I say something, bad things happen. And not only when I say things, but he said specifically, I think it was either season 2 or early season 3, he says specifically people that get close to me end up getting hurt. That was one of the things that he was always very afraid about. And that was one of the reasons why he wasn't super quick to befriend Ethan in the beginning, because he knows that people that get too close to him get hurt. So yeah, I could see that if something were to happen to Henry through this drink, which something's probably going to happen, yeah, I can definitely see that maybe that's why. Maybe the man in yellow or Sophia doesn't want the knowledge that Victor has getting out anymore. But then again, if that is the case, why not go for Victor herself? And unless there's maybe some reason why she can't. Is there a reason why Sophia can't silence Victor herself? I don't know.
She doesn't want to kill. It is my personal belief that the entity in yellow has no desire to kill them, just like the monsters don't rush.
Yep.
Sophia could tear up that town. I mean, we saw how it literally consumes humans, insides. So if the men in yellow wanted to, the entire town would be dead. Every single person in the town. They don't need to go through this whole show and pony show of putting on a different face, pretending to be a girl. Like, he does not need to do this if he just wants to kill them. There is a reason why he doesn't do it, and he told us that reason. I have more fun when they do it to themselves. This is my favorite part. This is what I do all the time. They have a system to their madness, and part of their system might be, you know what? Eternity is a long time. I like to play a game where I don't hurt them. I just let them live, and I make them hurt each other. And that way it's a challenge for me.
I could see that. I could also see a slight possibility where maybe the man in yellow can't directly harm certain characters, or at least Jade and Tabitha. You often wonder why the man in yellow doesn't kill the reincarnations of Jade and Tabitha every time they enter, every time a new cycle begins. Yes, it could potentially just be that he likes the game. He likes seeing this game play out. He likes seeing these cycles play out because he likes getting to his favorite part, which is this. But I could also see a part of it being where maybe there is some kind of rule in place where the man in yellow can't directly harm the Jades and Tabithas or certain people. Again, we have seen a lot throughout the show that there are certain rules that some of these creatures and characters abide by, operate by, like the monsters only coming out at night. We're still not exactly sure why that is, but we do know up until this point it seems to be some kind of rule where the monsters can only come out at night. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we found out something similar with the man in yellow, that maybe he can't directly harm Jade and Tabitha, and maybe that's why he likes doing this part, to get in there and to kind of get the townsfolk to turn on one another, to do his dirty work for him. If all of the previous Jades have been killed by the townsfolk, I have to imagine the man in yellow has had a big hand in turning all of the townsfolk against Jade and Tabitha to begin with, just like Sophia will likely do this cycle. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is some small aspect to it where maybe the man in yellow can't harm Jade and Tabitha. And yeah, he likes to have fun too. He seems like he genuinely enjoys these cycles. But yeah, good stuff. And then, of course, we get to the tragic part of the episode. Good old Donna drops. And again, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but this was a very interesting scene. Now, of course, there were some kind of spoilers going around before this episode dropped, and many different names being thrown around in terms of who was getting CPR in this scene, and not only who was getting CPR, but what exactly would happen to them as well. Would they survive this encounter? And here we've learned that it was indeed Donna herself, who has a heart attack. And I gotta say, I mean, I was very relieved, if nothing else, that she survived this, that she didn't die. Because I swear, Donna going out because of a fucking heart attack would have been such an underwhelming death for her character, for a character like her. Especially after that recent foreshadowing where she was talking to Tabitha, telling Tabitha, if anyone needs to do anything stupid or dangerous, I'll be the one to do it. It very much felt like it was a foreshadowing of Donna, dying at some point in the future, maybe protecting Tabitha and her children. So if Donna would have died just from a mere heart attack, this would have been such a disappointing death for such a really, really strong character, a character that's been super strong up until this point anyway. So I was at least relieved that Donna didn't die. And I know we were talking earlier about Harold Perrineau's performance. And I think this is the scene that Harold Perrineau shined the most in. He was so good in this scene, so good in all of these shots. He just would not give up, even when everybody else around him was done. They were, even Christy was telling him to kind of stop. he just wouldn't give up. I love the dialogue. You don't die on me right now. I say when you fucking die. And it was just so Boyd. You know, I feel like Boyd and Donna have really grown into such a strong relationship here, where the two really lean on each other. Like, they lean on each other a lot. I feel like we really saw the extent of that in this episode, of just how much Boyd needs Donna. Like, he really does. He needs that strong right hand that he can rely on. Yes, he has Kenny. Yes, he has other allies in town, but you know, Donna's like the only one in town that's kind of like an equal to Boyd in terms of leadership and how people look up to Donna just like they look up to Boyd. So you really see in this scene just how much Boyd really freaking needs Donna and how much he just refuses to let her die. This was one of Harold Perrineau's greatest performances of the entire series. I thought he was so good in this scene. And we'll play a few seconds of it.
Die until I say
You don't die until I say.
Wait, it's not gonna work.
I said hit her again! Hey, don't you do this. You don't die until I say you die. You hear me?
Ah,
You don't die until I say you die. Open your fucking eyes!
and she does. This was such a good scene, such a powerful performance from Harold Perrineau. You know, I love seeing scenes like this, even when everybody else around him has completely given up. He refused to. He refused to let Donna go. You don't die until I say you die. This was quintessential Harold Perrineau, and in one of his greatest forms we've seen yet.
Yeah, I really like this part, and then the part that follows was my favorite, when she's breathing, but she might be brain dead.
Ah,
Now, there's something really interesting. What stood out to me, beautiful scene, of course,
Yeah.
but everything you said and all that. But it reminded me of his nickname, Mr. Fish and Loaves. What
Okay.
was Fish and Loaves? A savior, a Christ-like figure, a savior, somebody that commands you to live. And that's
Ah,
what he was doing to Donna. He was commanding somebody that was on the brink of life and death. And he said, you don't die until I say you die. And
okay.
I thought that's really interesting dialogue, because he is not only a savior type, but also maybe somebody that can will you to
Will
live.
you? Yeah.
Because they made it seem like it was Boyd who brought her back.
It
Even
did.
Christy was like, I am not going to touch her. Like, it's not going to work, Boyd. It's
Yeah.
been too long. So not only does he bring her back once, but he does it twice. When she's breathing, that's not enough for him. The next part is what my favorite, where he's like, okay, everybody's gone. Open your fucking eyes. Like,
Oh, I love
I
it.
mean,
So
his
fucking
style
so
is
good.
definitely interesting, but
It's
it works. He is commanding her to live like a Christ-like figure would. I don't think it's a coincidence that his name is Mr. Fish and Loaves. I don't think it's a coincidence that nothing works until he demands that she live. I think he might have brought her back to life. Like, that's what it seemed like to me. You know, it could be, it could not. But
It did. It did.
that's what it seemed like to me, because he didn't do it once, he did it
He
twice.
did it twice.
Her
Yeah.
breathing and her not being mentally there, but physically, he called her to mentally come back. And he said, you leave when I say that you leave. So maybe he has some sort of power. I would like to
Maybe.
believe that he does. That's what it seemed like to me.
Maybe we know that some kind of magic is present in this place. Things are capable here that aren't possible elsewhere. So yeah, maybe this is one of the reasons why the monsters are going so far out of their way to break Boyd, to break his spirit, because he is the town's strength. He is the town's beacon. And maybe in a certain capacity, Boyd can will certain things into existence, like in a sense like this. Maybe Donna could draw strength off Boyd, just him being that close to her, him not giving up on her, him having faith in her. Maybe stuff like this can rub off on other characters in a certain extent in a way that we can't really fully explain. So no, I could totally see Boyd maybe having a really a deeper impact apart from just the medical and physical one of him continuing to do CPR. I could totally see that being the case because you could just see it. It did look like just a scene of sheer willpower, just sheer will of, I am not letting you die. You are not dying right now. I say when you die. You don't die until I say you die. And then boom, here she comes back. And then again, right back in the room. I love how as soon as everybody fucking leaves, all right, open your fucking eyes. Everybody's gone. And then we just get another really, really good monologue from Boyd, talking about everything, stuff that he would never probably say to Donna when she was awake. And lo and behold, it brings her to. So yeah, I guess that it is an interesting question. Is there something a little more to it? Is it just coincidence that Boyd happened to do this? Or is it providence?
Yeah, I think, once again, his nickname is Mr. Fish and Loaves.
Yeah.
That's kind of a huge coincidence when he is demanding and commanding you to live, and it just happens to work. They clearly speak about religion in the show. It's something that they bring up a lot. They bring it up often. So it wouldn't be strange for me if he had some sort of Christ-like power. He is Mr. Fish and Loaves after all. But what I really liked about this scene was that Boyd is one of the people that is able to feel and understand complex emotions. And he explained a complex friendship perfectly.
Oh my God.
He explained it beautifully.
Yeah.
He explained a complex emotion that a lot of people who don't happen to be that deep will not understand. That you can dislike somebody. You could look at somebody and say, I don't like that person. I just don't. But you can respect them. Two things can be true at once. A dislike for that person can also live alongside a respect for that person and a need, even a need for that person, because that's what he explains. He says, she didn't like me. We did, and I didn't like her. But as soon as she was asking those questions, I knew this person, this woman knows how to survive.
She's a survivor.
We are going to be okay because she's a survivor. And for him, for somebody like Boyd, who is also a survivor, you recognize each other. Even in somebody that you don't like. You recognize yourself in people that you don't like, that you disagree with. But two things can be true. You could dislike them, not stand them, but respect them and respect who they are and see yourself in them, which is, like I said, very complex. How can you dislike somebody that you see part of yourself in? You do. And it's, the relationship that he had with Donna. I think that they worked through a lot of that dislike, but this is how they talk to each other. And I love how they talk to each other because yes, you are very soft with your friends. You know what I mean? But with my friends, and Jeremy knows this, when you have this comfort with a friend that, you could get into a fight, you could talk to them the way that he's talking to her, and they're going to scream at you back. And that's almost more, what is the word for it? Closeness. What is that word?
Yeah.
Intimate. It is almost more intimate when people talk to each other like this than when they talk sweet nothings. Sweet nothings are easy. You talk to anybody like that and they're going to stick around. But to talk to somebody like this and they're going to stick around and just wake up and be like, fine, this is friendship. This is deep friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really have loved how Boyd and Donna's relationship has evolved, because it has evolved quite a lot from season 1 to now. We all remember in the beginning, episode 1, when Boyd is walking up to Colony House, Donna stops him. She's like, you shouldn't be up here, Boyd. You know the rules. You shouldn't be up here. Knowing that his son is up there. And then you see how those walls started to come down over the seasons and how they really started to build up an alliance, a working relationship that kind of blossomed into a friendship, and then into like a partnership, and then into this kind of deep, like you said, complex relationship that they have between the two, where they remember where they came from in terms of starting off kind of as, and not enemies, but kind of on opposite sides. But I think they both recognize and respect the journey that they've went on together, getting to where they are now, to the point where they are each other's right hand. They are the one that the other leans on the most. Boyd really does need Donna here in this place to keep this place running, and Donna needs Boyd. So I feel like this was a really good, interesting look at how complex some friendships and relationships can get at times. But at the end of the day, when the chips are down, they're there for each other, and they always will be there for each other. And I think, Boyd was really just expressing how much he needs Donna in this episode. And I'm glad I'm really glad she didn't go out by a freaking heart attack, because we were talking a little bit about that previously. It would have been it just wouldn't have been a fitting way for her to go out, for Donna's character, for what she means to the town. I feel like when she does eventually get killed off, it needs to be a death worthy of her character. And a mere heart attack is not a death worthy of Donna. So I'm glad she survived. And I guess now we have a little bit better of an answer as to why we saw those shots with her in the cane, walking with the cane. Seems like she is going to maybe have a slow recovery from this incident here.
Yeah. And I feel like it could be summed up in like, I do not like you, but damn, do I respect you. That's all I was hearing when Boyd was giving that monologue. Because when she says, you shouldn't be up here, Boyd, she was really messed up to Boyd. When he needed her, she was like, what the hell were you thinking, right? And Boyd is like, dude, I have so much going on. Like, why are you screaming at me right now? But she didn't take it easy on Boyd. And it's nice to see that need. He recognizes that he needs her, that she is another part of him, that she can manage people and be a survivor in a different way, a different style. Because he has his own style, right? The town is about, they explained it to us. They said, in the town, we have rules. If you want to live for today, go with Donna. But one other thing, this man wouldn't trust his son, Ellis, to be in that house if he didn't have respect for Donna and for the woman that she is. Because that is the most precious thing that he has. The fact that he allowed Ellis to be there, the fact that he's all the way in town and Ellis is in that house is, I believe, because he respects Donna and he knows that Donna would take care of his son, which is the most precious thing that he had. And yeah, I love Quan Solar's comment here. An intimate and twisted friendship like you and Jeremy.
Totally.
You know what? I could write a book on the friendship that Jeremy and I have. We have tried many different arrangements of relationships, but we are such good friends that it's not everybody that you could call and talk to people like this. Some people, they're going to be like, dude, I'm not going to be your friend. You call me up and you scream at me, like, what the hell? I'm not going to be your friend. I can't handle it. But when you can talk to somebody like this, give them your honest feelings, your honest emotion, and they can call you out and you call them out, that is true friendship. Because that's the friendship that tells you to grow. And we do it all the time. You know, you could go to anybody to tell you nice things about you. Most people will.
Yeah.
But you could only go to true friends. They will tell you you suck. And Jeremy and I do it all the time.
I honestly can't tell how much I've grown just from being friends with PM, how much I've learned from her, how much I've learned about myself from her, and from all of you guys in the chat as well. And, that's why I say it all the time. I feel like I learn something new every time I do one of these streams. But yeah, I've learned so much from being PM's friend. I feel like I've grown so much as a person from being her friend. And yeah, we have a very similar relationship where we're super comfortable with each other.
I'm the Donna, you're the Boyd.
Very Donna.
No, I want to be Boyd.
But no, yeah, it's the relationship that Boyd and Donna have. It's a special one. And, even where they started to where they are now, like, it's just, this was a really, really good scene, and just hammers home that Boyd needs her. Boyd needs Donna. You know, he needs her
Mhm.
to kind of keep this place going.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, Jeremy is an amazing being. Yes, an amazing human being. He
Thank
is the Donna because he likes his weed. I'm the Boyd. I'm like, no, no, order and like all of this. You're more likely to find a place where, like, if Jeremy was running it, yeah, you could drink a little, you could smoke a little. If I was running it,
How about drinking?
absolutely not. So I'm the Boyd, he's the Donna. But I mean, I can't tell you the number of times that we talk about the show. I know it's stupid, but we will talk about the show and like get into it, or about life and get into it. And I can't tell you the number of times that I myself have grown as a person. um I'll tell Jeremy off, and then I'll call him at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., because we have a time difference. And I'll be like, hey dude, were you sleeping? Which of course he was. But I'm like, hey, I was out of line, I'm so sorry, like I shouldn't have like called you all those names, like sorry. He's like, oh, it's fine, it's fine, I'll talk to you tomorrow. But that happens repeatedly. I have grown a lot as a person. Like me apologizing to people on a daily basis. I don't think I've ever apologized to somebody as much as I apologize to this man, because I tell him off and then he's just like, oh, it's fine. Whatever. He doesn't care. It just, he's like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know at the end of the day, you know, we really care about each other, and we're always there for each other. And
But if
and
they
yeah,
heard us talk, they would be like, these two people fucking hate each other. Like these people are gonna kill each other.
yeah, it's it's a complex relationship. But you know, those are the fun ones. Those are the deeper ones. And yeah, you know, we've learned a lot from each other for sure. And again,
We're
and I've learned a
besties.
lot from all of you. Absolutely, absolutely. And I've learned so much from this community as well, and that's why I love kind of having these discussions and diving into all this craziness with each and every one of you. And it is craziness. It is craziness that we are diving into. But again, at least we know Donna didn't die from a heart attack. That would have been incredibly fucking weak if she would have died from a heart attack. But she is looking like she's going to survive. So that is good. Of course, we got our Father Cautry cameo as well. And I thought it was very interesting how Father Cautry was urging Boyd to listen to Jade, urging Boyd to go down into those caves. So again, you know, it makes you wonder, like, what's going on? Is this really Cautry? Is this something else? More questions arise with these dead cameo characters, but it did seem that Cautry was urging Boyd into the direction of Jade's plan.
I mean, I struggle. My answer as to the ghost is that
Me
they
too.
have to be two different entities, because
I
they
go
don't
back and
act
forth.
they don't act the same. One time he's helpful and then the others he's not. You know, like when they were trying to find Fatima, he didn't want them to find her. He did
Yeah.
not. And now he's back to being like, yeah, you need to like do this thing, you need to get people out. So now he's acting more like himself, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's something weird about him. If he is Boyd's subconscious or a ghost, why does he always want to get information from Boyd? What the hell does he care? He's a ghost, but he's always asking, like, what are you going to do? What is the plan? What happened? Why are you trying to get information? Why is information important to you when you're a ghost? He's always asking him, and it seems like he doesn't know everything that's going on. And if you were a ghost, I would assume that you could see everything that's going on. But
Yeah.
and somebody said in the chat that deep down I'm a mean girl. I'm not a mean girl. I'm a very tough girl, and this guy has made me cry. Okay, so he is the mean girl.
Oh,
But no,
yeah.
I'm super nice. People are gonna think I bully you, Jeremy. Stand up for me
No,
here. They're
no,
gonna be like,
no,
oh, she bullies him.
no, absolutely not. Nobody bullies me. I don't stand for that. No,
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
nobody puts baby in the corner. And we have a $2 here from Jehovah's. Thank you so much for the two. Thanks for going this long while I'm at work. Well, that is awesome, my friend. And again, I know it's super late, and we'll probably be shutting down here in a few minutes. It is almost 5 a.m. here on the East Coast. After all, I got to get some sleep sometime. But we'll be back. We'll probably be back with another stream tomorrow night, diving into everything that we didn't dive into tonight. But yeah. If you guys are anyone that is getting some pleasure out of this while you're at work, if it's helping your work day go by a little quicker, then fuck yeah, that's awesome. And thank you. Thank you so much for the $2. I very much appreciate that. I owe you, and I owe Sunflower also a glitter rose. Glitter woe. No more glitter bombs. We got glitter woes now, folks. Glitter woes. But yeah, again, this was an interesting episode. I definitely need to go watch it again a second time to kind of, dissect everything and a little bit closer, write my notes down, start working on my breakdown video. And of course, tomorrow night, Sunday night, if we'll probably do another stream, probably diving into some of this stuff a little bit deeper. But I will be ending that stream same time I usually do, a little bit before 10 p.m. Eastern, so I can record the trailer and upload the trailer for episode 7 onto the channel. Because that has been something that we have been doing every week now up until this point, uploading the trailers so you guys have a place to watch them, because I know not everybody has access to the trailers. So we will definitely be doing that tomorrow. And I will also try to have my episode 5 breakdown out as well. But overall, I thought this was a pretty fun episode. We had some interesting things happen. Again, this whole Henry drinking Sophia's blood is going to be very interesting to see where that's going to go. I don't know where it's going to go, but I definitely have a feeling it's not going to be very good for our old pal Henry here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I am looking forward to seeing where the rest of this is going to go. And of course, Boyd, the episode ends with Boyd grabbing the sledgehammer, knocking down the wall, and exposing the tunnel that Jade saw in his visions. So it looks like we got a lot of stuff to dive into, a lot more stuff to dissect for this episode, a lot of theorizing to do on where it's going to go from here. But of course, before we close it out, the one thing we always ask each and every one of you in the chat, and us as well, is our scores, our weekly scores for the episode. And on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being horrible and 10 being perfect, what score would you guys give episode 6 of season 4? PM, what score do you got for this one?
I'm gonna go with anime here in the chat. I think 8. But I kind of, I just looking at Boyd, he carried the episode. He did so
He did.
amazing.
He
It's a
did.
10 for Boyd. 10 for Boyd, 8 for the episode.
Okay, I like it. A 10 for Boyd's performance, 8 for the overall episode. Not bad at all. Let's see what you guys are saying. Star God's channel gives it a 6.5. We got an 8. We got a 4 in the house from Papa Joe. We got a 6 in the house. We got an 8.5, a 7 from Star. We got a 5 from AMAC, AMC. We got 6.75 from Michael. Okay, interesting scores. We got a lot of, definitely a big mix, and we love seeing a nice mix of scores. We got another 6 in the chat from House of Mystic. Sunflower gives it an 8.5. Quan Solar gives it a 7. 10 for Boyd, 6 overall. Okay, interesting. I like it. Also another 10 for Boyd. Boyd is usually always a 10. I mean, he is. Yeah, when it comes to Harold Perrineau, the guy is usually a 10. Absolutely. But he really killed this episode. 7.5, another 7.5. We got another 10 for Boyd. We got an 8 for the episode. We got another 10 for Boyd. 10 for the emotion. 6.5 for the action. Okay, that's fair. The wig got a 10, says Papa Joe. Hey, you gotta
It's
give
stealing the
wig
show,
something, right?
dude.
The wig,
The
is
wig, usually
the
it's an
show
actor
stealer.
that steals the show, but not here. The wig is stealing the show. It was only on screen for like a tiny bit, like nothing practically,
wig.
and it stole the show.
The wig is going to win Best Actor at the end of the day. Golden Globe coming for the wig. So another 10 for the wig. 4.5. They already covered the nightmares coming alive in the first season. Yeah, again, I know it's something that they kind of already talked about. Yes, we're getting kind of definitive confirmation now that it is indeed real, but it is something that has been in the show's kind of ether since very early on. So I understand that. I definitely understand that. 4 out of 10 from Seba. We got an 8.5. We got another 4. We got a 10 for the wig. Awesome. Yeah, the wig is wigging out. It is. The wig is wigging out indeed. Awesome stuff. Yeah, the wig definitely deserves a golden dome. Yeah, definitely a golden dome for the wig. For sure. All right, for me, Episode overall as a whole, I'll give this episode, just on first glance, a 7.5. 7.5 out of 10 overall, but yeah, definitely a 10 for Boyd's performance, a 10 for Harold Perrineau's performance. He absolutely killed it in this episode. Every scene he was in was so good, but just seeing him giving Donna that CPR, seeing him just refuse to give up on this friend that he was just not ready to lose. It was just such a powerful scene seeing that. It was as good a performance as when he was with Father Kotri, when Father Kotri was dying in his arms. It felt that good. And then, as PM mentioned, even taking it a step further when we got that really good scene between him and Donna in the bedroom, where as soon as everyone leaves, he's, all right, get the fuck up, Donna. It was just, this episode really showcased the deep and complex relationship that Donna and Boyd really have. And, you kind of went away from this episode getting a deeper appreciation for the bond that they have, I guess, or at least I did anyway. So yeah, 7.5 for the episode overall, but 10 out of 10 for the Boyd and Donna scenes.
Oh yeah. And I like what Golden Child is saying. I mean, we rarely ask Jeremy to flex his power, but if we're going to ask him to flex his power and connections, it is to get the wig in here. We want an interview with the wig. It's those subscribers, Jeremy. We need the wig. But
I'll use all my power to try and get the wig on. All my power.
Just very briefly, this is the last scene, and just very briefly on the discussion of it. I thought it was very powerful because it goes in direct contrast to what we have heard Sophia say. So more religion. Sophia says to Sarah, you know, are you going to do this? And it is then that she explains, you see, God didn't mean for this person to actually do it or go through with it. It just wanted to know if they would, which is about control. How much control do I have over Sarah? How much faith does she have in me hurting people, or that people will get hurt, right? And Boyd, he's in direct contrast. He is a savior and a Christ-like figure, but he's not your typical savior or Christ-like figure who goes on faith, who says, all I have is faith to go on, and I'm going to go ahead and do all of this. He says, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to. And Kotri tells him, oh, do it on faith. He's like, I'm not going to risk people's lives on faith. And as he's hammering, he says, if you want me to do this, you better show me something. He's demanding for God to give him something in return, which I thought was really interesting. Because in all of the other stories that the show has given us, it is, you just have to have blind faith. You just have to believe. You have to be given nothing of an indication. But for Boyd, he's like, I'm not going to do the work unless you show me. And he's always kind of standing up for himself, even to the creator. So I just think that was really powerful. It made me like him even more. You know, I love Boyd. But the fact that he's like, yeah, I'll do it, but you better show me something. Like, who demands things of God?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people.
Yeah. And actually gets some type of response that he at least interpreted as a response. Again, you know, just when you think you can't like Boyd anymore, just when you think you've seen every side that there is to Boyd, we get an episode like this where we get to see, wow, there's even more layers there. There's even more good character-driven development to be pulled back, you know, when you pull those curtains away. So yeah, this was such a good episode for him. Really good character. Again, definitely a bit of a, I wouldn't say it was a slower episode. I feel like the pacing was pretty steady, but it was a lot of setup. There was definitely a lot of setting some things up for episodes 7, for the last 4 episodes of the season. But the stuff that we did get was incredibly good. Just, you know, this Harold Perrineau scene in particular of him giving her CPR was such a powerful fucking scene. And it did remind me a small bit of Lost, season 1 of Lost, when Matthew Fox's character, Jack, did something very similar to Charlie in terms of just not fucking giving up on him, refusing to let him die. Although I will say, I think Harold Perrineau's version was way better, even better than Lost's. So yeah, this was fun. Really good episode. Again, definitely a solid 7.5 out of 10 just after a first viewing. I definitely need to watch the episode another 1 or 2 times to really get my full perspective on it, which I will do. So keep an eye out for my episode 6 breakdown, which I will probably try and have up on the channel at some point tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, we will be diving back into episode 6 and talk about all of the things that we didn't talk about tonight. And of course, I will have the episode 7 trailer up on the channel tomorrow night after 10 p.m. as well. But there we have it, folks. Episode 6 is officially in the books, and we still got quite a lot to unpack from this episode and from the rest of the second half of season 2. The wait is over. The break is over. We are finally back in full swing, and hopefully these next 4 episodes over the next month are going to be just raising the stakes more and more and more as we go on, because it's really long past time that things started getting a little bit darker. But yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, thank you guys all so much. See you tomorrow. You guys made my night. I mean, like, hilarious.
Fucking stream. This was so fun.
Yeah,
Both
love it.
show in this. It was so much fucking fun.
Yeah, you guys made my night. It was a good episode. It was definitely good. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for showing up.
Yes, absolutely. We'll see you guys tomorrow night here on the channel for part 2 of the breakdown. And then, I will have the episode 7 trailer up on the channel as well. And until then, stay safe out there, ladies and gents. Keep those tinfoil hats on, folks, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers.
Okay, ding dongs. If you don't subscribe to Jeremy Ice and Fire, you're gonna spend the night in the box.
Aunt Cooey.
We're running out of time and we still don't know the rules.
Everything here is impossible, but it's also real.
Saving those children is how we all go home.
There's something else here now. Something new.
Your wife shouldn't have dug that hole, Jim.